And now from the starting line for the engineers of RPI. Leading your engineers on the ice this afternoon, welcome to junior engineer Logan Franchise. Where Mr. Duke Flaherty, class of 76 at RPI, will sing the Canadian and national anthem of the United States of America.
You are listening to live coverage of Engineers Hockey on 91.5 FM WRPI Troy. Tom Reel and Larry Pulverant with you on the call this afternoon from the Houston Fieldhouse. Before we get started with the first period, I'd like to thank the Rensselaer Union. They provide the funding for WRPI and all the club-related activity of the Institute, including WRPI's coverage of RPI hockey, football, and baseball. Just a reminder, WRPI is on the World Wide Web. Point your browser to WRPI.org. You can pick up WRPI's broadcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. As long as WRPI is broadcasting, we provide that broadcast on our internet feed. Once again, that's WRPI.org. You can also watch any RPI men's ice hockey home game live on the internet. Just surf on over to rpitv.org or check them out on YouTube and search RPI TV. So Larry, what do you think RPI's got to do here in game number 2 in order to pick up the win?
Well, I think most of all, they can't get the slow start that they had yesterday. They gave up 2 goals in the first 4 minutes of the game, both by Mr. Veazey. But I think they need to just come out with a little more soundness and a little more protection of their own zone. I think in the beginning of the game, they couldn't penetrate the zone. I think they were doing a lot of dumping and trying to chase it down. I think as the game went on, they got a little better carrying it into the zone. But I think they, doing that dump and chase, I think often tried to make long passes and wound up taking a lot of icings in the beginning of the game. So I think they can cut back on that. And the third is to just try to force some penalties that Maine could take with their low-performing penalty kill. I think we could take advantage of that. I think our power play is looking pretty reasonable this season, and I think we should take advantage of that as much as we can.
Energy certainly will be the watchword for the Engineers tonight. They didn't have much of it to start the game yesterday. They're certainly going to be looking to get out of the gate strong here this afternoon. 20 minutes are on the board. Engineers will be skating from right to left across your radio dial here during the first period. Maine wins the opening face-off, and they are currently throwing it around in their own zone. A pass from Hallway to Hamilton was off the mark. Ends up back on Hallway stick. Shea trying to get it out. RPI forechecking. Maine brings it out into the neutral zone. Now crossing the attacking zone, but Shea brings the puck in offside. Just a few minutes or a few seconds into this one. 19:41 remaining in the first period. No score.
RPI does a quick change here. Changes up the D. Change the forward line. Trying to do matchups as best they can.
The Billy Jerry line now out there for the Engineers. That was one of the top lines last night for RPI as they win the face-off just outside of their own zone. Headman pass for Jesper Orval sent in, and it goes right in on McGovern, who covers for the whistle.
RPI dumping it in on the goalie, take the face off.
Chase Perry is in net for the Engineers this afternoon. His overall record is 1-5-2. His goals against average .340 and a save percentage of .903. Rob McGovern, who we saw last night, is back in net for the Maine Black Bears. He's covering for Jeremy Swayman, who, as we mentioned yesterday, is with the U.S. national team on Buffalo.
Yeah, I think after that save yesterday on Hayhurst, I think he felt like he had to put him back in there.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been strong too. He's beaten the Engineers 3 times during his career. Maine breaking it out of their own end. Bringing it into the zone is Pearson. Has it now for Fossier along the far boards. Sends it down low for Cedric Lacroix. Puck comes back up to the point for Keeper. Now Trail Max. Along the near boards, Fossier back to Keeper. Keeper sends it in on net, and it's in a goal.
Oh, no, little floater. Just a floater, always throw it at the net. That's what they tell you. So just floated it in, and looks like it just went right past Barry.
Barry looked like he could have had a beat on it, but as you mentioned, Larry, kind of a floating puck that Perry just was not able to get himself down on the ice quick enough. And as quickly as Maine scored last night, they scored even quicker here in game number 2.
Yeah, I thought RPI did a good job in the zone of keeping Maine on the perimeter, not allowing any of the shots. All 3 goals yesterday came from between the circles. So I think they did a good job of keeping on the outside. That's one I bet you Mr. Perry wants to have back.
Now they're going to review this. I'm not exactly sure what they're going to be looking at. Usually when you're confused as to what the review is for, it's probably going to be something in the neighborhood of goaltender interference. So
yeah, you didn't see anybody really that close, but maybe there was somebody on the crease off to the side.
Marty Hughes and Brian Hicks, the referees for tonight's contest. Brandon Vigorito and Ryan Knapp are the linesmen. The way I saw it, Perry was in position to have a pretty decent look at the shot. Looker took the shot from the point, or more or less in front of the blue line.
I didn't see it hit anybody either on the way in. I didn't see a deflection, but we'll see in a second whether this goal holds up.
So as we wait, the official scoring will probably be freshman Brady Keeper scoring his 4th goal of the season. I said Looker, where I got that one from. Keeper, the freshman from Cross Lake, Manitoba, should probably get credited with this one as we get an opportunity to look. Didn't really see anything necessarily that was untoward. Samick was nearby, but wasn't in a position to really stop anything.
No, that looks like it just went right through him.
Trail Max might have been in a position to redirect it. So he moved in front of the goaltender, but you can obviously screen the goaltender all you want. That's,
yeah, I didn't see anything wrong there. Although they are still looking at it, which is pretty unusual for...
I guess the only other thing that it could be is if they think maybe the puck went off of Trail Mac's skate as he came by.
It looks like they're coming out, and it's a goal.
So now I guess the question is whether Trail Max was able to deflect it in, or if the initial shot that was made by Brady Keeper is what is going to count. But either way, it's a 1-0 lead for Maine in the first minute of the game. Face-off at center ice is won back by the Engineers. Matt Harris tries to move it up for Hayhurst. Is picked off by Milbauer. Will send it down into the RPI end. Burgess trying to control it along the far boards. Goes back to the point and is whipped in just to the left of the RPI cage.
Well, Tommy Grant got a little rattled on that hit in the corner.
RPI bringing it through the...
He's headed to the bench.
Zone. Hayhurst in the near corner. Swinging around looking for Burgess. Burgess can't control it, but it's kept in at the point by Wilson, who just sends it down by the Zamboni door. Now a battle for it along the far boards, picked up by Burgess. Burgess sends it to Hayhurst. Now a shot by Prapavessis, saved by McGovern, comes back into the slot, but it's picked up by Quinn Livin. He'll just send it out. Maine will change behind the play as the Black Bears send it down ice into the RPI end. Puck goes by a couple of different Engineers in the neutral zone before it's picked up by Mark Hamilton, who sends it down. And now the puck in the RPI end, but Maine was offside, so it'll give RPI a free opportunity to move out. Engineers now trying to get it into the zone. They're offsides, and Holloway comes away with it for Maine. He sends it down the other way. Battle for it in the near corner. And Jaron Burke is first on the puck. He'll bring it out of the zone himself. Nice pass ahead, looking for Hayhurst, who can't control it. It ends up down in the corner. That's Max Reisinger, excuse me. Big shot by Samick, hits the side of the net on the near side. Just missed that one. Puck into the near corner, Jaron Burke battling with it. Now, quick shot by Reisinger is saved by McGovern into the corner. That pass came back to Reisinger, but he couldn't find it. Now a pass into the slot, no one home, picked up by the Black Bears. Peter Husakis first on it. Engineers keep the puck in the zone. Jaron Burke comes around the net, takes a shot. That goes well wide. It's kept in by Samick at the point. Samick leaves for Jerry. Jerry curling around to the blue line, takes a shot, bounced in front, but it's sticked aside by McGovern. And Hamilton now with the puck behind his own net for Maine. Smith sticks that one out of the zone. That's going to trickle down in on net, and Perry has to stick that one aside to negate the icing. Samick tries to get it ahead for Jesper Orval. And that's sent into the zone, but RPI still trying to control. Polino trying to get a handle on it. Now Orval has it taken away from him. Shea now going ahead 2-on-2, has Veazey with him. Here comes Veazey. Takes a shot that goes wide of the net into the near corner. Keeper pinches in. And now the puck squirrels away to the far side and back behind the RPI net. Taken by Grant. As he pulls it out, RPI will dump in and change. Maine looking to break out. A dangerous Veazey line out there. Shot comes from the basically center ice and is sticked away by Perry. Whiffen looking to move the puck now. Kind of chops at it at the red line. And then the puck goes hurtling over towards the Maine bench as they're changing, but doesn't hit anybody while it's over there. Wilson looking to move the puck now. He's just going to send that all the way down ice. And it's picked up there by Whiffen. Now an opportunity for RPI as they pick up a loose puck behind the net, but Tierney's cannot pull the handle.
It just bounced on the last minute.
Here's Prapavessis at the blue line. He takes a shot. That was deflected into the corner by Whiffen. Now a big hit by Liljegren comes with a shot by Whiffen, and that's gloved down by McGovern. A big crunching hit by Liljegren along the near boards. And we'll get a stoppage with 15-14 remaining in the first period. Maine up 1-0.
I think RPI still needs to figure out how to transition into the zone better. I think they're still doing a lot of dumping, and I think they need to try to carry that puck a little more with control. So we got a good offensive zone face-off here. Hayhurst taking it, try to get back to Samick.
Shots on goal are 3-2 in favor of the Engineers. as Hayhurst leans in to take the draw against senior Cedric Lacroix. And now Lacroix will be thrown out of the circle. He's trying to stay. That's not usually a good idea.
Giving the linesman a little talk there.
RPI wins the draw. Back to Samick. Samick with a wrister from the blue line, and that's gloved down by McGovern.
Good win by Hayhurst. Not enough traffic in front, though. Goalie could see that all the way and got the glove on.
I'm certain that Lacroix is going to try and step back in to take this one, and he is, although he's still jawing with the linesman. That's usually a recipe for getting thrown out again if he keeps it up. Lacroix wins the face-off back. Holman's just going to kind of lift that one out of the zone. Looking up ahead for Housakis, and now that's going to go out of play. And the face-off's going to come out just outside of the RPI zone. 15:02 left in period number 1. The Maine Black Bears holding a 1-0 lead over the Engineers.
So far, not a lot of scoring chances. A few shots, but no real good prime scoring chances, which is a good thing. Just got that one goal with the fluke goal.
Quinn Livin is going to settle in against Jake Morello, the Slingerlands, New York native. Morello wins it back to Samick. RPI pushes forward, gets it into the zone. Burke is chasing, but the first one there is Brady Keeper. Now Maine behind their own net, looking to set up a move outside of their own zone. They push it down into the RPI end. Reisinger along the far boards. Gets it to Morello and out of the zone. Maine collects it. And Brady Keeper, who really created that first goal for the Black Bears, sends it forward for Quinn Livin, but he is not on top of it and goes all the way down ice for icing.
Yep, we're seeing Tommy Grant back on the ice after that hard hit in the corner, which is good to see. The face-off in front of Perry.
The official scoring on Maine's first goal, 56 seconds in, an even strength goal by Chase Pearson. His first of the season, actually, from Brady Keeper and Mitchell Fossier, and it is 1-0 Maine. Maine wins the face-off, and it goes all the way back. So they will have to regroup. You want to win face-offs in the attacking zone, but you don't want them to end up all the way back down ice. Maine tries to bring it into the RPI end, but it is taken away by Jerry. Jerry now trying to move through the neutral zone. Some good checking action there by Patrick Shea, keeps him from getting even to the blue line. And Maine regains control in their own end. Headman pass for Shea is off the mark, and Matt Harris is the first one on top of it. He tries to backhand it out of the zone, and is powered in by Tyrion Niemi, who's just going to slam that one down. But it's Harris who comes away with it. Harris had it essentially fall off of his stick, and he's looking to pass it. Okay, just having a hard time moving the puck through the neutral zone at the present time. Jerry's just going to whip that one down ice so that the Engineers can change. But it's going to give control of the puck back to the Black Bears. Fossier moves across the red line. His pass is off the mark. Wilson tries to move it. Now it's up for Tierney's along the far boards in the RPI end, taken by the Bears. Here comes Holloway at the top of the slot, takes a shot, saved by Perry. Puck is loose and ends up behind the net. Prapavesis comes away with it, has it up for Tierney's. Evan Tierney's, who had a goal last night, brings it to the blue line and sends it down in. Liljegren backhands it through the slot, and now Wilson's going to send it behind the net. Liljegren by the Zamboni doors, up to Prapavesis at the point. Prapavesis tries to backhand it in and is picked up by Mark Hamilton for the Brown Bears. And then it's just going to be lifted down ice by Trail Max, and RPI will collect it as Maine changes. Wilson has it ahead for looking for Tierney's on the far side. Puck bounces by the Maine bench, and it's sent back the other way by Holloway. And now Maine with an opportunity. That shot goes off of, I think, Wilson and out of play.
Little physical stuff now behind the net. A couple pushes.
It's Cedric Lacroix for the Black Bears. He certainly has been a little truculent here in the early goings of this one. Maine holding on to their 1-0 edge with 12:18 remaining in the first period, and RPI still has the 4-3 edge on total shots.
Yeah, so I think the goal going to Pearson means they must have tipped it, so must have been a tip in front on that floater.
Lacroix just got thrown out again. He's still having some words with the officials. He's not happy about the way his stance in the face-off circle is being challenged. Maine wins the face-off anyway. Quick shot saved by Perry. And it's brought down by the Engineers. Stout tries to move it out, but it's picked off by Keeper. Keeps it in the zone. Now here comes Smith. Smith takes a shot. The initial shot is saved, but it comes loose. And fortunately, Samick is the first one there. Now a 3-on-2 for RPI if they move quickly. Puck bounced a little bit too much, and they weren't able to take advantage of it. Then the Engineers were offsides as Stout brought the puck into the zone, so he has to leave it, and that brings Maine control once again. They'll send it down ice, and Perry is the first one to it behind his own cage. Stout tries to move the puck up for Hayhurst. Just gets himself past Quinlivan, who is forechecking. RPI looking to get it out of their own zone still. Samick tries a headman pass. It goes through everyone, but it ends up right on net, and McGovern has to stop it, so there's no icing.
A little bounce there at the end. It almost got through.
Reisinger sent it in from the neutral zone. Now here is Burke. He is battling with Keith Mielbauer for that one, the Apple Valley, Minnesota native. Burke moves it forward. Reisinger takes a quick shot. That's saved by McGovern. Now Burke with the puck. Penalty coming up on Maine. Here comes Grant. Grant takes a quick shot. That's saved, and it's touched up by Brendan Robbins for the whistle. A cross-checking call is going to put RPI on their first power play of the game.
RPI scored last night on the power play, so looking good to try to replicate that here. Get back in this game, get it tied up.
Keith Mielbauer, the guilty party. So a cross-checking call puts RPI on the power play. The Engineers 13.4% on the season on the power play. That's 52nd in the country out of 60. But as we mentioned at the top, 71.4% penalty kill for the Maine Black Bears is dead last in the nation. So not really weakness on weakness. RPI's power play maybe one of their better aspects at least, but the penalty kill certainly one of Maine's weaknesses.
Using 4 forwards on the power play with Turney's back on the right wing.
Engineers winning the face-off. Battle for it now in the near corner of the Maine zone. 2 Engineers, 2 Black Bears. Burgess comes to help out. He's put up against the boards by Hamilton. Now puck comes free, takes a shot, and it goes just wide. That was Tierney. He's taking a shot from the top of the far face-off circle. Maine grabs the puck and sends it all the way down ice. 1:31 left on the penalty to Mielbauer. The Engineers will have to set back up behind their own net. Here comes Wilson, the quarterback of the power play. Almost loses the handle on it, but is able to keep control of it. Now here comes Whiffen. Whiffen brings it into the zone. He has it come off of his stick, and it comes into the near corner. Maine is the first one there. Wilson gloves it down, but can't keep from going out. Now penalty coming up on Wilson as he took his man down. Lacroix and Wilson and Lacroix have pushed and shoved a couple of times tonight already. And Wilson is going to get the gate for putting Lacroix into the boards as the puck was coming loose. It's an interference call against the RPI senior.
Yeah, Brett Wilson made the instinct play there, just take the guy out into the boards, but can't do that. Got to give him free rein to the path to the puck, and so he goes to the box, negating the power play. In fact, in a little bit, they'll have about a 53-second power play.
And give Lacroix some credit for sure, as he used his physicality to get that puck out of the zone, and then Wilson's essentially retaliation is what ended the RPI power play. So a minute 7 of 4-on-4 coming up, barring any other penalties, and the face-off is going to be in the RPI end. Face-off one back for the Engineers. Prapavesis skating around with it, looking to move. He's looking up ice. He has a couple of guys he can pass to. Decides a D-to-D pass to Harris instead. Harris will just backhand it in. It's a weird bounce off the Zamboni doors, but sticked back over there by McGovern. Now here comes Maine the other way. Headman pass looking for Doherty. Doherty takes a shot, goes off the side of the cage, and comes to the near side. And Liljegren is the first one there. He gets it over to Prapavesis. Penalty coming up on the Black Bears.
Like he may have taken his stick, Liljegren.
Liljegren was taken down. Now Prapavesis brings it into the zone. 5-on-4 until Maine touches, which they do as keeper touches that up. A high sticking call coming up against the Black Bears, and we're going to see some 4-on-3 hockey here for the next 23 seconds.
Yep, unlike yesterday, we're starting to see some whistles, some calls, and yesterday was kind of let the guys play. Today, they're calling it by the book.
Already more penalties tonight than we had last night, as Doherty's high sticking call gives RPI a 23-second 4-on-3 power play. That'll be followed by 4-on-4 once Muehlbauer comes out of the box. And barring any other penalties, the Engineers will have another short 5-on-4 penalty or a power play after Wilson comes out of the box. So lots of plenty open ice out there. Engineers win the face-off. Riley over for Grant. And Riley takes a big shot, and that went off of Tim Doherty. I'm sorry, that's Hamilton who took the brunt of that one. Big slapper right into his back. RPI still with the puck in the zone. Riley, Hamilton's back up and skating. He's a hockey player. Grant walking into the top of the slot. Brings it back over for Riley. Burgess now as the Muehlbauer penalty expires. 4-on-4. The net, and Whiffen puts it in. Not a power play goal as Muehlbauer is back on the ice, but a 4-on-4 opportunity for the Engineers gets put to the back of the cage. And that ties it at 1, 11 minutes into this one.
Once again, the Burgess getting it to the net, making a nice little play, getting the puck to the net, and Whiffen with the little backhand past the goalie. I think Hamilton might have been hurting a little bit on that one. He's known as a shot blocker, but he took a hard one there. He was down for a few seconds.
We'll see the replay now. The initial shot was taken by Burgess, but that rebound just backhanded in. And not a power play goal, but kind of functionally one, as Muehlbauer was coming out of the box and rushing towards the play at the time. So you can kind of give the man advantage the credit for putting that one in, even if it's not going to appear that way on the score sheet.
It'll stay 4-on-4 for another 47 seconds, and then RPI will get a brief power play of about 40 seconds and try to capitalize and take the lead.
I think that was a goal that Brady Whiffen really kind of needed too. He's been having a hard time the last couple of games on being noticed out there on the ice. But even before that goal, I think we were already seeing a little bit more from him than we saw last night. And certainly right there was rewarded for really just hard work and working hard down low to be the first one on that rebound.
I agree. I think Brady Whiffen's he's always sound defensively, but I think his offense has been a little low lately, and I think that'll help maybe pick him up.
So we're back to square one, still 4-on-4 for the next 42 seconds as the Engineers win the face-off at center ice. Riley tries to drop that off for Jerry, and we're not on the same page, and it goes over into the far corner of the RPI end. They are first on it, however, bringing it into the neutral zone, but it's picked up by the Black Bears. Shea battles along the far boards with Krapovessis and Jerry. RPI still trying to move it out of the zone, and they do, but they're past pretty much everybody, so it's going to be Maine first on the puck. Here comes Muehlbauer looking to break out. And that goes all the way down into the RPI end. Wilson's out of the box, so the Engineers with a short power play now, about 40 seconds of 5-on-4 coming up if they can move the puck. Grant brings it from behind his own end. Here's Burgess, who set up the RPI goal just momentarily, or moments ago, I should say. He curls around, has it to Wilson, takes a big shot. That goes just wide. Might have gotten a toe on it, was McGovern. Now it's back to Wilson at the point. Big blast by Tyrese. That's blocked away by McGovern. Still with the Engineers, though. Here's Wilson. He takes another shot. That's blocked. Actually, that hit the stick of Liljegren, and it shatters on impact. And that helped Maine get the puck out of the zone, ultimately. 3 seconds left. And that should just about do it. Back to 5-on-5 here at the Fieldhouse. RPI the winner of that little combination as they get the only goal during that set. We are 1-1 with 7:20 left in the first period. Engineers with the puck behind their own net. That is Riley bringing the puck forward all the way up. Brings it across. He gets taken down by Patrick Shea, but the puck's remaining in the Maine end. Big hit by Jaron Burke by the Zamboni door as both teams now doing battle. And the Black Bears are first to come away with it. Here comes Maine. Over the blue line is Doherty. This dangerous line out there for Maine, but they're unable to control the puck. Jaron Burke brings it across the red line. He'll just kind of stick it in as RPI changes defenseman in their center. Morello trying to get it to Burke. Now along the near boards, taken by Shea. Shea gets it out of the zone. Hayhurst tries to poke it off of a stick. And the battle now for the puck is along the RPI bench. Samek comes away with it. He'll just kind of casually bring it back over his own blue line. D-to-D pass for Prapavesis. Prapavesis looking to move out of his own end. Kind of a light forecheck by the Black Bears here this afternoon as Stout will send it down in. Maine collects it. And now going the other way are the Black Bears. Emil Westerlund brings it into the zone. Back up to the point for the Black Bears. Turiniemi has it taking off his stick. Now here come the Engineers going the other way with it. Stout will just move it into the zone. And Turiniemi is the first one there for the Black Bears. RPI picks it up. Grant at the point. Tries to get it to Tierney. He has it taking off his stick. Good move there by Turiniemi. Now 2-on-2 the other way from Maine. Robbins gets it up for Quinlivan, who has a shot blocked by Grant, who's coming back into the zone. Now another opportunity on the other side of the ice. Robbins tried to move around. Now Quinlivan in the far corner. Tries to leave it back towards the point, but the only one there is Tierney, so he moves forward with it. He gets over the red line, tries to send it in, but ends up putting it in the Maine bench. So the face-off coming up with 15-17 left in the first period. RPI and Maine tied at 1. Shots on goal are 11-5 in favor of the Engineers.
RPI looked pretty good on the power play. A couple of blasts from the point using Tierney's on the off wing, which is usually where you see Jared Wilson getting that other side of the ice type open slap shot. But they look pretty good on that power play.
Face-off at center ice. The Engineers are eventually the ones to come away with it. Pushing it back down is Billy Jerry. And now a battle for along the far boards, easily won by Maine, but they can't get any farther than the red line before Samek collects it and just sends it down in. Now coming out of his own end is Chase Pearson, the goal scorer for the Black Bears. Comes in, pulls up, stops, leaves the puck. And eventually it's Jesper Orval who brings it up out of the zone. He had a pass looking ahead for Polino. He can't control it, and Maine back with it now. Milbauer just sends it down in. Samek the first one there. Has it over for Riley. Now bringing it up is Whiffen with a nice pass up for Polino at the blue line. He just sends it in afterwards, though.
He's looking to change.
He was being well marked by Ryan Smith up at that blue line. Husaka sends it in for Maine. That's on net, and Perry has to just kick that one into the corner. Wilson tries to whip it over for Brady Whiffen. Whiffen goes over towards the blue line. RPI had to leave that one and wait for the puck to enter the zone. So that helps Maine get an opportunity to collect it, but some good work by Victor Liljegren keeping it deep as he's pushing for control, and he finally comes away with it along the near boards. Tries to get back for Wilson, but it gets caught going forward, and now it's a race down ice between Husakis and Wilson. Wilson puts his man down in the corner. It allows Engineers to pick back up in their defensive zone. Engineers push back into the Maine zone. They are changing behind.
Wilson did a good job pulling up on that hit because he hit right in the numbers.
Here come the Black Bears. Keeper bringing it in across the blue line. Nice drop pass and a shot, and that's kicked aside by Perry. Really nice backhand drop by Keeper. Creates a scoring opportunity for Maine. Puck now in the far corner. And Burgess is going to bring it out for RPI. Bouncing puck picked up by Stout. He tries to bring it in again, but some good defensive play by Maine is making it difficult for RPI to enter the attacking zone. Shea along his own blue line. He's going to turn and go with it. He dumps it down in. Both teams changing now. Here is Burke looking to move forward. He can't get it through. Both teams are essentially just getting themselves clogged up in the neutral zone. Not really a whole lot of forceful action these last couple of minutes. The Engineers and Maine tied at 1 here with 2:22 left in the first period as the Black Bears send it deep into the RPI end. Muehlbauer can't keep it in at the point, and it's back out to center. Westerlund now bringing it in for Maine. He takes a shot. That's right into the gut of Chase Berry, who holds on for the whistle.
Shot that right through TJ's legs on net. That was one that Perry had time, though, to pick out of the air because it was taken pretty far out.
The official scoring on RPI's first goal, an even strength goal at 11 minutes of the first period. Brady Whiffen with his 3rd goal of the season. The assist going to Todd Burgess for his 9th helper of the year, and Will Riley his 2nd assist of the year. Makes it 1-1. That is where we stand with 2:08 remaining in the first period. Maine wins the faceoff in the RPI end. Shot, score! Holloway with an absolute laser beam from the middle of the blue line. And that is certainly how you break deadlocks in hockey, is just by whipping one. And the Detroit Red Wings property made it look like a lot of fun with that shot.
Big defenseman, got a lot behind it, but you got to win those defensive zone faceoffs. Maine wins this one cleanly back.
Good things happen when you win faceoffs in the attacking zone, and Maine really outlined just why that is right there with a big blast from sophomore Patrick Holloway. I always want to wait and see if one of those was potentially deflected in, but that had a lot of power on it, and it was moving more or less in a straight line. So we'll see how that ends up getting scored soon, but the Black Bears back in front. They are up 2-1 here late in the first period. Engineers trying to answer. They do have the puck in the attacking zone, and it comes off of Liljegren's stick, and now here comes Maine the other way, 2-on-2. Trail Max tried to get it behind him, and now a good hit by Wilson has him off the puck. Wilson's going to move forward now. Here comes Tyrannese. Tyrannese just has to send that in on net, and it's gloved down by McGovern, who holds on for the whistle.
Look at a complete change here. Get the finish line change.
They are giving it to Holloway. That is his 5th goal of the season, and the assists are to Edwards, Trail Max, and Chase Pearson. So Pearson now with 2 points here in the first period. He has a goal and an assist on Maine's 2 tallies. And it is 2-1 Maine with 1:20 remaining in the first period. Face-off in the Maine end is won by the Black Bears. Just saying how important it is to win in the attacking zone, and RPI unable to convert right there. Smith trying to get it away from Harris. Harris with a D-to-D pass for Grant. He has it up ahead for Jerry. Jerry gets taken down near the Maine bench, but not before sending it down into the near corner, where Orval's trying to get it away from Smith, and the Bears are able to take command. Husaka's up to the red line and sends it down ice. Jerry is there to pick up for RPI as Maine changes behind the play. Last minute of the first period, and Maine just very recently going back ahead, and they are up 2-1. Battle behind the Maine net. Engineers come away with it. Back up to the point for Riley. Riley whips a shot, goes just wide of the net. That was not wide by much. Now Doherty's just going to pound that one off the glass, but it's kept in by Jesper Orval. A good play by him to glove it down, but the trailer is Muehlbauer, and he gets it out of the zone with 13 seconds remaining in the first period. Puck goes behind the RPI net. Perry is there to pick it up. And Stout is trying to move it. Now comes free to Veazey in the slot. That's the last person you wanted to see all alone. He tried to kind of wheel and deal and put that one in on net, but it's Perry making a nice save, and that will be the last meaningful thing to happen in the first period. So RPI dodging a bullet right at the end there, and they, in many ways, are lucky to be only down by 1 after that little lapse in defense.
And that would have been a huge momentum hit for RPI, and a big swing toward Maine. The RPI had been good all period, actually, and not doing exactly that, giving the puck away in the middle, not allowing shots from the middle. I think they did a good job keeping those down. Both goals were point shots, and they look at the period. They actually did a pretty good job, I thought. I think they still need to make the passes a little crisper, and especially that second and third pass.
So we got the same score out of the second period as we had coming out of the, same score coming out of the first period tonight as we had coming out of the first period last night. So in a lot of ways, the not fully the same dynamic as we had on Friday, but still with 40 minutes left, RPI really in the exact same position that they were one night ago. That really just kind of underscores the need to come out and get that next goal, because the fact that they went down 3-1 ultimately was what buried them last night. They're going to need to get out there quickly and get that next goal. Really.
Yeah, I don't think either team looked that sharp. I think both teams were giving the puck away. I think both teams had problems with puck management, penetration into the zone. I think both teams are going to talk about how to make it just a little crisper and better execution on the ice. I think the fact that RPI is down by 1 is just a shot, an extra shot went in. I think it's just that. It's nothing that they did play-wise. I mean, those shots were just shots at the net that happened to go by Mr. Perry. So I think they're doing good. I think they need to maybe get a little more offense generated and learn to just get a little more short, crisp passes up the ice. I think they're still doing a lot of these long passes.
All right, we'll step aside for just a couple of minutes, and we'll be back momentarily with our first intermission here from the Fieldhouse. Your score after 1 period of play is Maine 2 and RPI 1. You're listening to live coverage of Engineers Hockey on 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy.
This is Campus Radio at RPI, WRPI, Troy, New York.
is Maine 2 and RPI 1. Just a quick recap of games from around the ECAC last night. In addition to Maine's 3-2 victory over the Engineers, there were a number of other games that included ECAC squads from last night. All of these non-conference games, of course, this is about the time of year where a lot of teams are playing in holiday tournaments, and if they're not, they're playing non-conference opponents like the Engineers are. First round of the Ledyard Bank Classic at Dartmouth featured Minnesota Duluth taking on the Yale Bulldogs and the New Hampshire Wildcats against the homestanding Big Green of Dartmouth. And the league went 1-1 in those games as Minnesota Duluth crushed Yale in the Battle of the Bulldogs 5-0 in the early game. And then Dartmouth taking down their in-state rivals from Durham, winning their first round game 3-1 over the nationally ranked New Hampshire Wildcats. Sets up a consolation game between Yale and New Hampshire and a championship game later on this evening between Dartmouth and Minnesota Duluth. The other noteworthy tournament to speak of is the Catamount Cup in Vermont. Harvard was upset by UMass Lowell by a score of 5-2 in the early game in that one. And arguably an even bigger upset was St. Lawrence taking down the hosts by a score of 3-2. That is only St. Lawrence's second win of the entire season. So the Saints advancing to the title game where they will take on the UMass Lowell Riverhawks. And Harvard and Vermont doing battle as we speak. We'll get to that in just a few more. Actually, I take that back. That game is going to be the late game, much the way that the Engineers used to do when they had a holiday tournament. The Engineers would play the late game regardless of whether it was the championship game or the consolation. It didn't really make a whole lot of sense on a competitive level, but I guess when it comes to making sure that your fans are in the seats for your game, it makes sense to make sure that they know exactly when they're playing regardless of what happens. So the championship game of the Catamount Cup is actually going on right now between St. Lawrence and Lowell, and I'll cover that in just a moment. Two other noteworthy games to discuss. The Union Dutchmen fell behind 5-0 about midway through their game out in Nebraska against the Omaha Mavericks. Ultimately, actually I take that back, they were down 4-0. They got the fifth goal of the game, but a 5-1 final in that one. Cole Meyer, the only goal scorer for the Dutchman, who notched his fifth of the season midway through that game. And down in Princeton, New Jersey, a little bit of a result for the Princeton Tigers as they took on #1 ranked St. Cloud State. They did have a 3-1 lead over the Huskies, but two late power play goals by St. Cloud knotted that one up, and then in a wild overtime period between the Huskies and the Tigers, in which St. Cloud managed to uncork an ungodly 14 shots in 5 minutes, but were unable to put one past Princeton's Ryan Ferlin, who I'm told absolutely stood on his head, making a number of amazing saves in the extra period to preserve the tie. St. Cloud certainly displaying why they are the #1 team in the country, even if they were unable to ultimately come away with the victory. They are missing their coach, Bob Motzko, who is currently the head coach of the U.S. junior team out in Buffalo, and they're also missing, I believe they're missing a handful of players that are on that roster as well. So the #1 team in the country, not quite at full strength, but still putting on a show by coming back against Princeton, and really just 14 shots in overtime. I'm not really sure I'm not even sure how that's even physically possible to some extent. That's a lot of shots in a very short amount of time.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there was power plays there or what happened, but 14 shots in overtime is...
Yeah, even strength the entire way, even Steven. That's really quite incredible. But ultimately, the final result is kind of a tip of that cap to both teams. I mean, you have to really applaud the work that Ryan Ferlin did there, and then just the amount of firepower you have to uncork 14 shots in 5 minutes.
I would assume he got #1 star of the game.
Absolutely.
I would assume that was the case.
So that was it for last night. There are 4 games in the ECAC going on at the moment, including the one that you are listening to right now, Maine with a 2-1 lead over RPI. Non-conference action at Liner Rink. After 1 period, Cornell holds a 1-0 lead over Canisius. And a couple of games I referred to just a bit earlier, Yale and New Hampshire battling in the consolation of the Ledyard Bank Classic. That was scoreless after 1 period, and St. Lawrence looking for potentially another upset, maybe a season-changing opportunity for the Saints as they hold a 1-0 lead over Lowell after 1 period in the championship game of the Catamount Cup at Gutterson Fieldhouse in Burlington, Vermont. So maybe an opportunity for St. Lawrence to turn their season around, and if you're an RPI fan, it's not an opportune time for that to happen, considering that they will be the next opponent for the Engineers here at the Fieldhouse.
Yeah, I think the middle of January we play the St. Lawrence Clarkson duo here, and that's, you know, Clarkson certainly being undefeated, and
they've been lights out.
Yeah, they've been very, very good, especially against the Engineers, which I've already seen them twice, in keeping RPI off the board and putting a lot of points up. So I think that weekend, you know, you got to look at the St. Lawrence game as an opportunity for a must 2 points. Especially, I think St. Lawrence is behind us in the standings, and you know, we've got to keep distance and try to move up. So I think that St. Lawrence game will be key. St. Lawrence, you know, losing their goalie Kyle Hayton to I believe Wisconsin was an unexpected thing that disrupts your whole recruiting pipeline. And I think that you know, they're struggling with trying to get back on the ECAC win column.
But certainly a golden opportunity for the Saints now, as they are an unexpected entrant in the championship game at the Catamount Cup for sure, and now holding a lead over Lowell as well. RPI, you know, that's where the upward pressure will come from. They're currently tied with Dartmouth for 10th place, and the only team behind them is St. Lawrence. They have only 1 point on this season in the ECAC play, and came against the Engineers up in Canton. So certainly that game in a couple of weeks will be important for RPI to capitalize on. But before that weekend, they do have a road weekend next week. They will be at Harvard and Dartmouth. Harvard, always difficult. They're a very good team again this year, and Dartmouth, believe it or not, at least since RPI defeated Quinnipiac earlier this season, Dartmouth, the team that has gone the longest in the ECAC without losing to the Engineers. So we'll have to see if the Engineers can bounce themselves back.
Dartmouth always been a nemesis, especially in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
Always hurt us.
Well, we've talked long enough that we are rapidly approaching the start of the second period. So before we get started with the second period, I'd like to be sure to thank the Rensselaer Union. They provide the funding for WRPI and all the club-related activity at the Institute, including WRPI's coverage of RPI hockey, football, and baseball. Just a reminder, WRPI is on the World Wide Web. Point your browser to WRPI.org. You can pick up WRPI's broadcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. As long as WRPI is broadcasting, we provide that broadcast on our internet feed. Once again, that's WRPI.org. You can also check out any home men's ice hockey game streaming live on the internet for free. All you have to do is point your browser to rpitv.org during game time and check it out. You can also watch full home game recaps at any time. Just head over to YouTube and search RPI TV or RPI Hockey, something along those lines. If you're a student, I don't feel like I should really have to explain this all to you, but just in case you were unaware of the procedures, there's ways of finding any home game that you want to see live or recorded.
So RPI comes back with the goal scoring line here, Griffin, Woljegren, and Ternese. Start the second period.
Engineers will be skating from left to right across your radio dial to begin the second period. They're also going to be doing it at the end of the second period if you're interested. And RPI wins the face-off. Coming into the zone is Whiffen in the near corner. As Woljegren with him, he leaves it off for him. Woljegren tries to get it up at the point, but his pass has a little too much mustard on it. Pravovets has to go and get it. He's just going to slap that one down back into the main end. And now Liljegren behind the Maine net. That is, I believe, Trail Max is going to get that one out of the zone. Now Veazey's just going to send it down in on net. Headman pass up for Orval. Brings it into the zone. Now just an absolute mess in front of the RPI bench as Maine goes forward with it, and they're offsides. And
I think
Mitchell Fossier is not happy about the offsides being called. I think they want 6 men on the Engineers, and it's entirely possible as there was a giant mess in front of the RPI bench while they were trying to change.
Oh, I saw them calling it. Yep.
Yep. RPI's penalty bench is open. Bench minor is on the board. I think that might have been what Fossier was more upset about, was the lack of a penalty being called before the whistle blew for offsides. But regardless, he was offside. So
luckily for the Engineers, he was offside.
Yeah.
But the change wasn't that bad. It's just that the puck came right up the side, right by the bench, and once that happens, you're
lots of traffic. It could have been 7 or 8 men realistically, the way things were going, and it was really just unlucky on RPI's part the way the puck just ended up right in front of the RPI bench. So Maine goes on the power play. This is actually their first power play of the game, as the Wilson penalty was interrupted by another Maine penalty. So the power play for Maine is at 18.5%, which is not too bad. Shot by Maine off of the face-off, goes wide. Trail Max keeps it in at the point. Now over on the far side, Hallway pushes it down low into the Zamboni door area. Back up to the point for Trail Max. Trail Max along the near boards. So over for Tiraniemi. Now back to Hallway. Hallway skating in. Takes a shot saved by Perry, and it's picked up and sent over by Fossier. Hallway now with it along the far boards. And the battle for the puck is along those far boards. Maine picks it up. Tiraniemi back over to Trail Max. Trail Max takes a shot that goes off the shoulder of Perry and into the corner. Maine controlling again. Tiraniemi across for Hallway. Hallway sends it through the slot. Nobody home. And Wilson's just going to try and power that one out, and it's kept in by Hallway along his own bench. Down low, RPI now with it again. Wilson's just going to baseball that one down ice. As the Engineers finally get their opportunity to change their penalty killers about a minute into this power play.
Pretty good job keeping them on the outside. Had a couple of good shots. Perry, you can see him, makes the saves.
Maine trying to gain the zone. Veazey had 2 goals last night. Goes back up to the point. Now here's Binner. He sends it back over, and a shot, and goes right into the glove of Perry. He holds on for the whistle. That shot coming off the stick of Brady Keeper, who created a goal early in this one with a shot from a similar area.
Yeah, no doubt that Maine has scored 2 goals on 2-point shots. They're looking to take point shots more on Perry.
Face-off still in the RPI end. A dangerous Doherty-Veazey-Shea combination is out there for Maine. Maine wins the face-off. Veazey along the near boards, looking up. And Doherty whiffs on an opportunity there. Goes back to Shea, who takes a shot and scores. Nice ripped shot by Patrick Shea near the center, near the face-off dot on the far side. That whipped to the back of the cage and popped up something that was on the back of the net well into the air. Nice shot.
Yeah, I think they hit the water bottle right under the crossbar. Beautiful shot, very, very similar to Tiraniemi's shot yesterday on the power play goal late in the game, just under the crossbar, and Perry didn't have much of a chance on it.
I think that was actually Brady Keeper, the defenseman from Cross Lake, Manitoba, who created that first goal, as I mentioned, and that was him over on the, that was Keeper over on the far side, kind of just pinching in enough to whip that one. Now we're going to see if they're going to potentially call goaltender interference. I think is really the only thing you can look at here. And once again, I'm just not seeing it.
They're already done looking.
It is a good goal. So Maine has had 2 goals reviewed and 2 goals upheld. And again, just like last night, Maine takes a 3-1 lead in the second period, and RPI again staring down the barrel of a 2-goal deficit in the middle stanza. RPI wins the faceoff, take a quick shot. That's saved by McGovern. The Engineers wasting no time trying to get back into it, but they're unable to convert on their first opportunity. Maine going the other way with it now. Shot from the far boards is easily handled by Perry. He covers up for the whistle. And they're giving this one to... They are giving this one to Keeper. His 4th goal of the season from Veazey and Alexis Binner at 2:27 on the power play. And that is where we stand now with 17-18 remaining in the second period. Maine with a 3-1 edge in this one, and they now have a 15-13 edge in shots. Face-off in the RPI zone is brought up ice by the Engineers. Polino has it taken off of his stick. Maine looking to capitalize, going the other way with it. Nice hit near the RPI boards. Keeps it off of Maine sticks, has it bring it in. Now a headman pass for Jerry. He just kind of has to flick that into the zone from the blue line, and McGovern is the first one on, and he covers.
Again, RPI making a long pass up the ice, hits the stick, just dribbles in on the goalie. They get the face off, but you get to have control of that puck coming in the zone.
So face-off now in the Maine end. Here's another opportunity for the Engineers can win a face-off to create something. They do win the face-off. Comes back for Harris, who really can't do much with it, and Maine ends up sending it out of the zone. Pushing forward is Quinn Livin. Now Westerland looking to move the puck. It's in the near zone. Robbins comes away from Maine. Up to the point for Binner, and he takes a shot that's blocked, I think, in front of it, and it got through, and is saved by Perry. Perry makes another save on a shot by Binner. Comes over into the Zamboni corner. Maine coming away with it now, curling up. Passed up for Binner. Now Quinn Livin. Top of the slot, takes a shot, goes off his own man. That went off a Brady Keeper. And had the last goal for the Black Bears. And now the team's battling for it along the near boards. Robbins moves it for Westerland. He's got Harris all over him, and they'll send it over towards the far corner. Now along the far boards, Binner is trying to keep it in. He can't do it, but it's not anywhere close to Polino, and Keeper will just send it back down into the RPI end. Jerry brings it out of his own zone. It's taken down near the red line, and Maine now going with it. Fossier is in 1-on-3. He's going to try and drag it around. Grant takes a shot. It goes off the bottom of the cage. And somehow that puck ended up in the back of the net ultimately.
Went off of Perry's shoulder, up and over him and into the net.
Really nothing even warning that puck was going to be moved near the goal, and it didn't have a whole lot of motion on it. But just like that, possession can create good things no matter really what you're doing. And Maine takes a 4-1 lead with 15:22 left in the second period.
The RPI's defense, Grant and Harris were out there stuck on the ice for a little while, and I think they were pretty tired at that point. But that goal should have been a save.
Just a loose puck that was poked from the far faceoff circle. It wasn't even really a shot. It was just kind of poked towards the net that ended up bouncing up and over the shoulder of Perry. So not even really I would say a quality opportunity turns into a goal for Maine. And they now have a 3-goal edge here in the second period. RPI with the puck in the attacking zone. Here's Tierney, so he tries to bring it behind the Maine cage. He gets taken down. Penalty coming up on the Black Bears.
Good work by Tierney on the boards.
That's just some hard work trying to move past his man. Looked like the stick might have gotten tied up in his skates. So maybe some hard luck for the Black Bears there. But nevertheless, a power play opportunity coming up for the Engineers, and one that they badly need to convert on. It's Patrick Holway, the sophomore out of Cohasset, Massachusetts, who has a goal this evening, but he is now on the penalty bench for holding.
Yeah, we're only 5 minutes into the second, so this is a good opportunity for RPI to get back in the game.
Face off is won by the Engineers. Hayhurst was the one in there. It's on the stick of Prapvesis. The puck is moved up for Liljegren, but it goes off of a Maine stick and out of the zone. 1:46 left on the RPI power plays. They look to move back up ice. Here is Liljegren. Brings it into the zone. Stops along the near boards. Has it taken off of his stick and just immediately right back out. Not a really strong move by Liljegren to try and shake his defenders. Here's Prapvesis looking to bring it out of the zone. D-to-D pass for Riley. Riley with an errant pass in the neutral zone. Polino goes flying, and the puck enters the zone, but the Engineers are off sides. I'm not sure that they were aware of that as they touch the puck and the whistle blows.
It's like Maine sending 2 guys toward the puck carrier, forcing them to try to carry it through 2 guys, and they're not doing it. RPI cannot get through them and causing turnovers and clears.
Scoring on Maine's 4th goal, an even strength goal at 4:38 of the second period. Keith Muehlbauer with that one. Mitchell Fossier and Edwards Trailmax on the assists. Maine sends the puck back down ice. Not a good power play showing for the Engineers so far. They really haven't had a whole lot of control here midway through. A very important man advantage as they now trail in this one by 3 goals. Tyrannis gains the red line and sends it in. Polino backhands it into the corner. Burke is giving chase now, and it's going to be kept in by Tyrannis near the point. Burke now battling with it, and Tyrannis can't manage to hold it in a second time. So once again, good clearance by Maine, who is looking a lot better than the dead last penalty kill here on this opportunity. RPI sends it in. It's again picked up by Maine. That was Muehlbauer, just whips that one down ice. Not much going on for the Engineers on this power play opportunity as they look for maybe one last rush up ice. Here's Prapvesis, sends it down into the zone where it's stopped by McGovern. McGovern is going to try and wheel that one out. Grant keeps it in. Tries to send it down ice now. An opportunity breakaway for the Black Bears. Here is Robbins, takes a shot and scores. Picked his spot and put it right over Perry's left shoulder. Hit the crossbar and came back down and in. And with 4 seconds remaining on the penalty to Hallway, that is a shorthanded goal for the Black Bears. A breakaway shorty puts Maine up 5-1.
That was just a perfect shot under the crossbar right in the corner. Again, all very similar to the last goal.
You can just see him kind of looking up and deciding where he wants to put that one, and he put it absolutely where he wanted that one.
Perry dropped to his knees just a little early there, I think.
Great shot. So that certainly puts the Engineers well behind the 8 ball now. They are in a big 4-goal hole, although there's still plenty of time in this one. They have a long road back. And Maine is really executing very well. They were very much the aggressors on that RPI power play opportunity. Maine now with the puck again in the RPI end. Here is Tiraniemi, who takes a shot through traffic. They got poked over to the far boards. Now RPI trying a quick pass going through the neutral zone is broken up. And it's now left for the Engineers. It's intercepted by Doherty, though, who's just really a one-man wrecking crew on this forecheck. Tiraniemi keeps it in now. Comes low for Veazey. Veazey looking to dish it off to somebody. The Engineers just look all kinds of out of sorts on defense. Puck comes into the near corner. It's on the stick of Pearson, and a shot from the point is sticked aside by Perry. It is 100% Maine right now as Shea and Fossier try to come away with it on the near boards. Polino ends up with it on his stick. RPI had more or less a 2-on-2, but they have to change. Guys have been out there for some time in the defending zone. Orval trying to just mess with it until he has some people to pass it off to. Prapvesis now has it to Reisinger, who just kind of sends it in from a weird angle. And that puck ends up rolling out of the zone. Good work by Trailmax to help Maine move the puck forward. But it comes off of a Maine stick, and now Morello moving to the red line, sends it down ice, and Reisinger will be the first one there for the Engineers. Another errant pass ends up with the puck out of the zone. Morello tries to control it, has it back to Wilson. Reisinger trying on the far side to move it into the zone. He moves it up for Jaron Burke. Burke is being manhandled. Now it comes free to Morello near the goal, and a big shot by Wilson goes wide. Morello had a chance down low and couldn't stick it home. Now Prapvesis along the near boards has it for Burke down low. Burke in the near corner. He's being roughed off the puck by, looks like Turniemi. And now some more good defense by Maine as they are able to move the puck forward. Now they're looking to move in transition, but Fossier will just send it down ice. Prapavesis being tied up by Quinlivan behind his net. And Liljegren comes away. He tries to find Hayhurst along the blue line. Cross-ice pass goes to absolutely nobody, and Maine's able to go the other way with a shot in from the blue line. That was Holway. Gets it in for his teammates. Doherty can't hold on to it, and it's back out to center. Maine sends it back in. Riley now on top of it. Riley across for Samick. Samick tries to get it to Liljegren at the red line. He tries to just zip it down ice. RPI not doing a whole lot of controlling in the attacking half of the ice, but now they have in the attacking zone. Hayhurst trying to a turnaround shot that gets interrupted. Hayhurst now along the far boards, doesn't have a whole lot of help. Samick moves in to try to help, but it goes off his stick and over to Hamilton, who just ends up trying to move it out of the zone. RPI changing as Maine controlling in their own end. Headman pass up by Holway goes off of Smith's stick. And now RPI looking to move with 9:10 remaining in the second period, and Maine with a 5-1 lead. A hand pass is going to send the face-off back towards the Maine end.
Yeah, RPI coughing the puck up quite a bit and not making very good passes, hemmed in their zone. The last couple of goals, though, by Maine have been snipes. They've been very similar to the kind of shots we saw yesterday, those wrist shots, just getting in there high in corners and under crossbars. Very difficult to save. I don't think RPI has defended the shot very well, especially in this period.
The official scoring on Maine's 5th goal, shorthanded goal by Brendan Robbins, unassisted for his 6th of the year. Robbins, the junior out of Nashua, New Hampshire, who just really got himself behind the RPI defensemen who were trying to push in for something late on a power play that had not had a whole lot going for it, and really just made it worse as he streaked up that near side, looked up, found his spot, and absolutely pinpointed it over Chase Perry to give Maine a commanding 4-goal lead.
Yeah, RPI needs to do something soon because the game is now half over. And we've got 4 goals to make up as the score is 5-1. So
Maine in very good position to win their 5th game against the Engineers in the last 2 seasons. Face off in the Maine end, won by the Engineers. Shot from the point, that was Harris. That might have gotten blocked in front. Now Maine looking to move out of their own end. Ryan Smith brings it up, brings it into the attacking zone. He has it poked off the stick by Harris. Harris is giving chase, but Maine will just try to stick it even deeper. RPI just having a whole lot of problems controlling the puck in their own end. Maine's forecheck really just keeping things bottled up with some ease. Now Polino's just going to be able to stick handle his way out of the zone. Now Stout tries to get it across for a streaking Polino, but that went off the skate and up into the crowd.
some lucky fan over there, hopefully a kid. A free puck. Another offensive zone face-off for the Engineers. They've been winning a good deal of those tonight, so hopefully we can get one here and get back in this game.
And to their credit, they've been taking their chances off of those face-offs as well. We saw it on the last face-off. They won it back, and the shot came immediately from the point. Prapavesis and Wilson right now back there waiting for it, but this draw is won back by Doherty for the Black Bears. Hamilton moves it up for Veazey. Veazey brings it across and just kind of taps it into the zone. Wilson, the first one back. Wilson now looking to move it. No pressure whatsoever as he comes out of the zone. Wilson's just going to brain it himself. Going coast to coast. Gets into the slot for Morello, but Morello can't pull the trigger. And the puck ends up along the far boards. Maine controlling. Coming out of the zone with it is Veazey on the far boards. Veazey had it tapped off momentarily, but it's picked up by Holway, and Holway tries to bring it in, but Shea is offside, so we get a whistle with 7:51 remaining in the second period.
RPI doing another change. Easy line goes off, which is good for the Engineers.
It brings out the Fossier-Pearson line, which is one that traditionally has been difficult for RPI over these last 2 seasons that have featured now 5 games between the Engineers and the Black Bears. Maine working the puck along the far boards in the RPI end. Bringing it around was Trail Max, who tried a backhanded wraparound that didn't get anything done with that. Binner keeps it in. Fossier leaves it for Pearson. Now back to Fossier. And Fossier can't control it, ends up out of the zone. Here comes Hayhurst. Hayhurst with a little bit of speed, but he has it tapped off of his stick. Good play by keeper. And now here come the Black Bears. Trying to move it, but it's picked up by Riley at the red line. Hayhurst now has it across for Samick. We're just going to send that in. Bouncing puck is stopped by McGovern, which you never want to really leave a rebound on a shot from the red line, but fortunately for him, no Engineers around, and he's able to scoop that one up quickly.
The Liljegren went down in the zone, and Hayhurst had to do something with the puck while he was getting up and out of the zone.
7 minutes left in the second period. Maine with 5-1, the edge on the scoreboard, as they look to close out a weekend sweep over the Engineers. Westerland has his pass picked off by Jesper Orval. Sends it over to Harris along the red line. Harris will send it in. First one there is Muehlbauer. And now Maine going the other way. Robbins scored on a shorthanded. Now an opportunity for Polino, takes a shot, save. Polino was all alone. I was about to mention Robbins had a breakaway, and then suddenly Polino has one of his own, but McGovern up to the task as Polino did not get that one off the ice. Now this is going to get sent all the way down, and a clear icing as Grant was trying to keep that one away from Quinlivan in his own zone.
That was one of those long passes that actually clicked. It went on Polino's stick, and he controlled it. He took it in and got a good shot off. On the other side, Trail Max tried to do a little wraparound, and Chase Perry gets his right pad down flat against the post, stops that shot.
You can make those headman passes 10 times, and if you connect on one of them, you can create an opportunity. The problem the Engineers have been having is they really haven't been connecting on the other 9. As the face-off in the RPI end, won by the Engineers, they're trying to move the other way with it now. Jerry tries to flick it into the zone, but it really doesn't go anywhere, and Hallway's the first one to it. He's going to bring it forward. He has it taken off of his stick. Now he picks up again along the logo and just whips it in on Perry, who gloves it down and leaves it for Matt Harris. Harris into the neutral zone, sends it up for Morello along the near boards. Here is Burke trying to keep things away from Peter Hasakis. He's unable to control the puck, and Maine will just send that one back out. Not a whole lot of pressure here for Maine, but they really don't have to. They're up by 4, and they're playing some pretty sound defensive hockey. So the game is certainly going the way that they would like it to. RPI needs to find a way to break the script, as it certainly appears right now. Maine with an opportunity, 2-on-1. Veazey is the one who's bringing it in, and an initial shot is saved by Perry. There's a whistle. I'm not sure if
that was a quick whistle.
I'm not sure if it was just a quick whistle or if the referee just lost sight of it, which is going to bring a whistle anyway, but Perry did not have control of the puck ultimately. Veazey and Shea were the 2 bringing in for Maine, and that this weekend has not been a pleasant view for anyone on the RPI bench, although that line certainly not quite as dynamic as they were last night, but then again, they don't really have to be. Face-off won by Maine. Quick shot by a keeper is saved by Perry, and the rebound is picked up by Will Riley. Now Samick tries another one of those headman passes to the blue line. That bounces off of a skate. Engineers have to regroup. Now it's sent back in by RPI, and Alexis Binner is the first one there, the Sweden native, I should say. Samick at the point. That's kicked aside by McGovern with some ease. Into the corner for Whiffen. Whiffen battling with Patrick Shea along the end boards. Kind of a weak pass for Riley. Now a quick shot, and where's the puck? It's under Rob McGovern. That was a quick shot by the Engineers to the far side.
That was a great pass from
Nice
Riley.
move pass by Will Riley to kind of set up a good scoring opportunity, one of the better scoring opportunities that we've seen for RPI outside of the breakaway by Polino.
I believe it hits the guy, the goalie in the shoulder and drops.
So still some decent defensive work for Maine as they set up for a face-off in their own end. Tie up on the face-off circle, and it's Maine that comes away with it. Fossier on the near boards looks up trying to get it for Trail Max. And it's sent back to the neutral zone and powered in, and RPI will collect it and try to move forward again. RPI sending it into the attacking zone. Morello trying to get his man off the puck. And Grant picks up in the neutral zone and sends it down once again. And once again, it is Maine there to collect it, but RPI was offsides to begin with. So a whistle comes with 4:02 remaining in the second period. Maine with a 5-1 lead.
Now, the RPI's had a couple looks in the last couple minutes, but I think the whole first half of the period, I don't think they had really any offensive chances at all. I think they've come on a little bit in the last few minutes, but I think Maine's still pressing at the other end. So see if RPI can fall back into this game.
Face-off is won back into the corner by the Black Bears, but RPI is the first one on top of it. Burke sends it behind the cage. Now back up to the top for Grant, who takes a shot through traffic, but it didn't hit anything. Went all the way back to the back boards. And now it's back out to center. Jerry had some pressure on him, so he'll just send it out. He was looking for somebody along the blue line or along the red line. That was Orval, but again, those passes have not been RPI's friend this afternoon, and went all the way down ice for icing.
Another face-off in front of Chase Berry. RPI goes with the Jerry line and the Lacroix line for Maine. 3:31 left. Maine still up by 4.
Face-off won by Maine. Lacroix behind the RPI net, brings it to the far side, up to the point. Quick shot, that's blocked by Harris over to the Zamboni door. Now Lacroix battling with Jerry. Harris takes it off of Lacroix's stick. Battles behind the RPI net now. Maine comes away with it. Turniemi on the blue line. Bouncing puck goes behind the cage for Lacroix. Lacroix back up for Muehlbauer. Muehlbauer can't control it. He's battling with Jaron Burke for the puck. Now it goes over into the Zamboni corner. Back up for Muehlbauer. Muehlbauer D-to-D for Tirniemi. Takes a shot. That went right off of Harris into the corner. Nice block by the RPI freshman. Maine still with the pressure now. Shea tries to keep it in, and it's eventually poked past Tirniemi, and that'll give RPI a much needed change. Doherty just going to let that one ride, and he probably should have touched it because offsides would have been better than icing, and icing is the call, so the puck ends up all the way back down in the Maine end. Of course, I suppose that's one of those situations where if you touch it, it's intentional offsides, and it doesn't matter. So.
Yeah, it probably would have been brought all the way down, but both teams get a chance to change the lines and see what's going on here. Harris taking the draw.
Face-off won by RPI. Can they do anything with it? Polino has it taken off of his stick, and the effort is for naught as Maine brings it out of the zone. Doherty sends it down ice. Krapovets is the first one there, but he's ridden off the puck by Shea. Now he's controlling it again. Has it to looking for Wilson, but Wilson has that pass bounce off of his puck, and Robbins almost kept it in, but the Engineers are able to finally get it out. They still can't move the puck through the neutral zone. Bouncing puck ends up on the stick of Wilson. He has a D-to-D pass for Prapavesis. Up for Hayhurst, but that pass a little bit too hot and ends up back with the Black Bears. So the passing for RPI has been a little bit suspect. And a lot of those ones where even if it's hitting the stick, it's bouncing away and right to the defense. And once again, RPI trying to move the puck, but they get it back in the neutral zone, looking for Polino in the slot. He kind of just taps it and ends up back with Maine once again. RPI just finding it impossible to maintain control of the puck here, and now a puck on the RPI bench, so we get a whistle with 1:31 remaining in the second period. Maine up 5-1.
Yeah, I'm not sure about there's some new lines, but seems like they don't connect. They're not looking where each other are, knowing where each other are, and I think they're having a hard time figuring out how to make a play that moves the puck up the ice cleanly.
You don't see a lot of sophomores wearing the C on their uniforms, but Chase Pearson for the Black Bears, who wins this draw at center ice, is wearing one. The sophomore from Alpharetta, Georgia. He has a goal and an assist here this evening as part of Maine's onslaught. They are up by 4 here late in the second period. Engineers looking to move the puck out of their end. Reisinger has trail max on him. He elects to just send it back farther for Riley. Riley looks up and tries to pass it up for Stout, but it, again, bounces off his stick and towards the Maine end, and is picked up by the Maine defense. These passes just are not sticking, and it's pretty much turning into easy giveaways. Now Stout trying to backhand it into the zone. Ends up getting it down as the Engineers change. But it's been just way too easy for Maine to just kind of sit back and wait for the puck to come to them here in the second period. Orval now trying to move it. He's just going to go ahead and move it himself. Seems like a good idea. Takes a shot, and it's easily taken down by McGovern, and there's no rebound.
Seems like Maine is taking the puck carrier very, very quickly, picking up the puck carrier and trying to force the play. And no doubt that's probably a good strategy because the passing by the Engineers has not been that good. So they're forcing the puck to be moving, and that causes lots of turnovers.
Just makes it easy for the defense when all you have to do is kind of sit back and wait for an errant pass, and that's really all Maine's had to do for the past 5+ minutes. As Maine won the faceoff in the RPI zone, they broke it out. Now Grant took a shot from the neutral zone that's gloved down by McGovern, and he holds on.
With only 21 seconds left in the period, shots are even at 26, surprisingly, but Maine is up 5-1 on the scoreboard.
Yeah, Maine hasn't really been taking too many shots here recently, and it's not really a matter of RPI controlling the puck. It's just that they've not given Maine too many opportunities in the attacking zone. But the way things are for the Black Bears, it's kind of moot. They are probably going to be content to play good defense for the rest of this contest. Face off in the Maine zone won by the Black Bears, and they will just kind of lift that out of the zone. That went off of Maine's stick and off of the near boards and all the way down ice. So another icing call on Maine, and another attacking zone opportunity for the Engineers.
Yeah, we'll repeat it with 7 less seconds on the clock. Whiffing out there to take the face off, looking to get back to Wilson with the cannon.
This would be a golden opportunity for RPI very late in the period. But once again, they can't control the face-off in the attacking zone. Some good work by Maine, and they're going to be content to just try and freeze this one for the rest of the period, but it comes free. Now that puck that bounces dangerously close to the Maine net, and eventually the net comes off of its moorings. That was just a weird bounce that ended up close to Rob McGovern, and kind of hovering in that area was Brady Whiffen, who has RPI's only goal today. And the whistle blows with 0.9 seconds remaining in the period, so they're going to go ahead and pull Chase Perry, see if RPI can win this faceoff back to an extra, potentially an extra player, and get a quick shot and see how well this works out.
We're going to go back to Wilson.
There are 8 players lined up in the slot, 4 per team. Well, now it's 3 per team.
Brady taking the faceoff, so they're definitely going back to Wilson.
That'll be it. The goal for Maine is just to jam up the entire works. They win the face-off anyway, so it doesn't matter, but it's more pushing and shoving because there was a lot of jostling in the slot prior to that face-off.
I think Brady Whiffen's still upset about getting pushed into the net that caused that net to dislodge.
So a forgettable middle frame for RPI in this one as they give up 3 more goals to go down 5-1, and what was a manageable game after 20 minutes is looking like a potential 4th consecutive loss for the Engineers after 40, and it's a whale of a mountain to climb up from here, and you have to really tip your cap to the Black Bears the way that they have been able to manage this game. And
they've been playing fairly clean, right? They haven't really taken a lot of penalties. They haven't been doing any kind of cheap shotting or any kind of legal play, which is good. They don't really need to, being up 5-1, but it's good to see. We've seen some games where games that get a little lopsided, get a little chippy. So it's good to see that it's been a clean game. I think the Maine guys have been very optimistic, and I think that RPI, be interesting to see how they come out in this next period. One, if Chase Perry even starts the period, or if he goes to Lyndon Marshall for the third period, and also to see if he juggles some lines up and changes some lines up.
Maine has also been very businesslike tonight. There hasn't been a whole lot of disruption. The only times that I can recall them really displaying any kind of negative emotion was during the first period. We saw some difficulties that Cedric Lacroix was having in the face-off circle, and he was not shy about airing his concerns that he was more or less right. And when you, as the man once said, I fought the law and the law won. Well, he has since kind of straightened up a little bit. He plays his game with a little bit of an edge, and he's done what he can to get under, especially Jared Wilson's skin. And he's done some good work with that. He drew a penalty against Wilson in the first period. But other than that, and the little bit of display by Mitchell Fossier during the period right before RPI was sent off for too many men, there hasn't been a lot of negative emotion being displayed out there by Maine. They're just going out there, they're executing, they're getting what they need out of their players, and especially when you see what they were able to accomplish on their last penalty killing opportunity. They really kept RPI bottled up. The engineers did their part by putting on a display of some pretty poor passing, but they were rewarded for their hard work by picking up a short-handed goal on the breakaway. And I think if you're Maine, all you want to do is get in there, kind of settle things down, and get themselves out of here with a victory.
Yeah, I think on that breakaway, Tommy Grant got caught looking at the puck. And I think he was along the boards, there's a player, puck's in his feet, he looked down at the puck, the player just went right by him and took the puck away. And I think in that case, you gotta just take the player, because the puck ain't going to the net by itself. It needs a player to do it. So you take the player, then you don't have to worry about the puck. But I think also the lack of after the whistle feistiness and the lack of pushing and shoving and after the whistle activity, I think is a sign that I think this team needs to get a little tougher. I think they're a little penalty shy, probably a little bit because they've had penalty problems in the past, some of these guys, but I think they need to get a little more physical, a little feistier, and try to own it a little more. I think you saw a little bit of it from Brady Whiffen when he got pushed in the net, but other than that, I haven't seen much of that this whole game, and not from the little guys and not from the big guys on the team. So I'd like to see a little more of that.
We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with some score updates for you. After 2 periods here at the Fieldhouse, your score is Maine 5 and RPI 1. You're listening to live coverage of Engineers Hockey, 91.5 FM, WRPI, Troy. outside the Houston Fieldhouse as we are in the second intermission between Maine and RPI, and your score after 2 periods of play is Maine 5 and RPI 1. A quick rundown of the scores from outside the Fieldhouse. As we mentioned during the first intermission, 3 other games going on involving ECAC teams. All 3 of these games are after 2 periods of play. Cornell holding a 4-1 edge over the Canisius Golden Griffins at Liner Rink in Ithaca. Cornell picked up 3 goals in about 5 minutes time, 2 of which were by Kyle Betts, who has a hat trick in that game. Elsewhere in the consolation game of the Ledyard Classic in Hanover, it is 1-1 between Yale and Dartmouth. Robbie DeMontis, a power play goal for Yale, made it 1-0. Frankie Kefalu following up with about 5 minutes left in the second period at even strength for the Wildcats, and that is all the scoring in that one. And the St. Lawrence Saints looking for their 2nd consecutive victory, which would give them 3 for the season. And they are looking very good to do that now as they hold a 3-0 lead over the Massachusetts Lowell Riverhawks. One of the difference makers this weekend for St. Lawrence has been Daniel Manella, who appears to be emerging as a top choice option for St. Lawrence. Arthur Bray has an overall record of 1-12-1, but Manella in that picked up the win last night for the Saints, stopping 36 shots on 38 opportunities for his first win of the year, and now looking good to make his overall record 2-2. As St. Lawrence goes to collect the what would have been a highly unexpected Catamount Cup. They have a 3-0 edge after 2 periods in that one. Shorthanded goal by Joel Sullivan in the first period was followed up in the second period with a power play goal by Mike Marnell and an even strength tally with 1 minute and 15 seconds left by Philip Alfberg. So if St. Lawrence is able to tie the Engineers with 3 overall wins on the season, that would essentially give St. Lawrence and RPI the 2nd least number of total wins in the nation, trailing only Alaska Anchorage, who have just 1 win on the year. So we could be seeing the emergence of St. Lawrence, but it is worth pointing out that they're still giving up quite a number of shots overall. Manella has stopped 23 shots in the first 2 periods, so not really a number that you like to see defensively. They're certainly still allowing a lot of shots, which has been one of their biggest problems all year.
Yeah, I agree, and I think RPI has a better record than their play indicates. Not tonight, but in general. I think when they played St. Lawrence, right, it was the last minute of the game decision, and I think some of the other games have been, 3 or 4 minutes of the 60-minute game that they just weren't there. And they let in either late goals or early goals, taking themselves out and just trying to fight back and never quite getting there. And so I think their record is a little better than what it is, but they still haven't learned how to put up the W and how to win the game. And I think that's a little bit of a struggle with a freshman and sophomore team like we have. I think that there's only 3 seniors on the team. So I think they're struggling with that. New coach, new system doesn't help either. But that's what the whole season is for. And, we're only at the halfway mark. We're only 3 months into the Dave Smith era. And I think there's time that's needed to make that gel. And I think that the rest of the season will tell. A few years ago when Jason Kasdorf jumped in and took over the goalie position, RPI went on a tear through January and February and wound up having a great season. And I think, the opportunity of when this team gels and learns how to win and starts putting up some points, I think we've got a couple months to learn how to do that before the playoff season hits.
The meat of the ECAC season is coming up and is starting next weekend. So, like you said, Larry, anything is possible if RPI can gel at the right time and get moving. We're potentially seeing with St. Lawrence that you can turn seasons around. It's possible, but it's certainly from where we're standing right here as a 4-goal deficit in the last non-conference game. It seems like it might be ways away, but you never do know. We will be back momentarily with the third period. You're listening to live coverage of Engineers hockey, and your score after 2 periods is Maine 5 and RPI 1. We will be right back. Listen to live coverage of Engineers hockey, 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy. Technic Institute in Troy, New York, as we get set to bring you the third period of action between the Engineers and the Black Bears. My name is Tom Rill. I'm joined this evening by Larry Pulverant, and you're listening to all of this in your home for Engineers Hockey, 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy. Before we get started with the third period, I'd like to thank the Rensselaer Union. They provide the funding for WRPI and all the club-related activity of the Institute, including WRPI's coverage of RPI hockey, football, and baseball. As a reminder, WRPI is on the World Wide Web. Point your browser to WRPI.org, and you can pick up WRPI's broadcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. As long as WRPI is broadcasting, we provide that broadcast on our internet feed. Once again, that is WRPI.org. 20 minutes are on the clock. RPI is skating from right to left in the third period. And we are underway. RPI with a giant mountain to climb, but they have certainly some time to do it as Whiffen coming in all alone, takes a shot, saved by McGovern, and the follow-up by Tierney gets kicked aside. I don't know what, Whiffen was left all alone to just skate right in at the very beginning of this third period. That would have been a step in the right direction. Now a quick shot by Lilsgren is blocked by Holloway up into the netting. So RPI coming out looking like they want to start making some dents in this 4-goal deficit.
Yeah, you can tell there's a lot more energy in that line. A lot more offensive chance. They had a little 2-on-1 in the very beginning of the after face-off. And then it goes to the Jerry line. See if we can keep the momentum going, but we're going to need a couple quick ones here to get back in this game.
And that also did not look like the same Maine defense that we were viewing at the end of the second period. So some good efforts by RPI. Maine looking maybe needing to button things up just a little bit more here early in the third period. Black Bears looking to go the other way with it. Trail Max has it for keeper in the right in the slot. Gets it on net, but it's ultimately easily sticked aside by Perry. Now the Black Bears still controlling it in the attacking zone. A little tic-tac-toe opportunity. Didn't end up on the stick of Pearson in the slot. Maine still controlling the puck now. This is one way of having a good defense, is to control the puck. And a sliding Samick, who had his stick broken, ends up getting it out of the zone. Orval looking to go the other way with it. Orval near the Zamboni door, has it for Billy Jerry. Jerry has Pearson trying to stick it away from him. Still battling for it. Fossier just backhands it back behind his own net for Keeper. Brady Keeper spinning to get himself away from Hayhurst. And that's ultimately just going to be sent down in after Keeper hits to the red line. But Perry trips over the broken stick. That's Samick's stick that was behind there. And that temporarily allows Maine to keep it in the zone, but RPI grabs it, sends it all the way down ice for icing on the Engineers. Certainly not what they wanted to do right there. 18:23 remaining in period number 3. Maine up 5-1.
The RPI needs to keep the puck at the other end of the ice. It means no icings.
Face-off in the RPI end. And it's the Engineers that come away with it. Not really a clear winner on the face-off circle. And now 2-on-2 the other way come the Engineers. Morello has Burke with him. He's going to try and stick handle himself around his man. Burke ends up with it, takes a shot, goes off the side of the cage. Now Burke battling in the corner with Mielbauer. Burke tries to send it up to the point, but no one home as Prapavessis had pinched a little bit farther in. So that's a free change for Maine as RPI has to go back for it. And now a whistle is going to be an infraction of some kind. Of hand pass? Couldn't have been. Hand pass all the way down ice. Against Maine.
Sure, read this faceoff is going to be center ice. Looks like center ice.
Center ice faceoff anyway. 17:50 left in the third period. Faceoff at center ice, won by Maine. Hallway has it in his own end, up for Hamilton. Hamilton crosses the red line and just pokes it into the zone. Wilson's the first one back. He backhands it into the corner looking for Prapavessis. But a good hustle by Jack Quinlivan. They will take it away from him. Ends up on the stick of Max Reisinger coming out of the zone. Here comes Stout. Owen Stout along the near boards. Looks up, sends it into the slot. Whiffen has it bounce off the skate. Now back to Wilson. Wilson to Whiffen. Reisinger lets it run for Stout in the corner. And Stout's pushed off the puck by Hamilton. Wilson keeps it in at the point. He takes a shot that goes off the glove of McGovern and bounces to Quinlivan. He brings it out of the zone, and he'll send it down after he hits the red line. Stout along the near boards. Tries to move it out, has it out to Keeper, and Keeper just going to whip that one down ice from the red line. Maine is very content to hit that red line and just send that puck down ice. Every little bit kills a little bit more of this game. They just like to get out of here with no injuries and no problems. Tierney along his own blue line. Jerry has the puck taken away from him. Here's Keeper. He has his stick checked by Jerry as he's trying to move it, and the puck ends up behind the Maine net. Now taken by Liljegren in the attacking zone. Good for check pressure by RPI. Binner tries to move to the near boards. It bounces off and out of the Maine zone. RPI is going to have to regroup. Again, problems moving the puck in the neutral zone as RPI just simply can't connect on what should be some relatively simple passes. Now RPI trying to bring it out, and it's taken away, but a penalty coming up on Maine, and this is going to be a good call. He's feigning ignorance, but ultimately the Black Bears were only able to keep the zone because Will Riley was being held, and Mitchell Fossier the guilty party for Maine. So
Will Riley tried to power the puck right down the boards through two Maine guys, and one of them just grabbed hold of him and tackled him.
Holding the call against the Maine sophomore, one of two sophomores from Alpharetta, Georgia on this squad, along with fellow line mate Chase Pearson. So RPI back to the power play. They are 0 for 3 so far on the man advantage in this game. I take that back, they are 0 for 4, I believe. Yes. So RPI back to work on the man advantage. They're kind of -1 on the power play because they gave up a shorthanded goal. That's kind of where I was losing it. But regardless, RPI struggling here early on their man advantage. They won the faceoff but weren't able to do much with it. Now the puck back in the attacking zone. Here is Tierney over to Wilson along the blue line. Now Polino along the near boards. Cross-ice pass looking for Tierney. That goes all the way back to the boards, but picks up again by Tierney. Another cross-ice pass to the boards with Polino there. And a pass back to Tierney, takes a shot, and that hits something in front. Might have been Hamilton. Tierney's keeping it in again at the point, but he sends it deep, and Hamilton is there to control it. Hamilton has Burke trying to get him off the puck behind the net. Whiffen ends up with it. He tries to send it back around for Burke. Burke now with it, wrapping around. Getting an opportunity, it goes well wide. Didn't get a good angle on it. Now Polino along the near boards as Burke goes off. Here's Polino to Wilson, whips a shot, and that's right into the glove of Rob McGovern. Great scoop by the junior out of Weymouth, Massachusetts.
Yeah, Burke came around, but he just couldn't turn the blade, tuck it toward the net. A couple good plays there, but Mike Hamilton back there had plenty of time to clear the puck. I don't know why he took it around the back of the net.
50 seconds remaining on the penalty to Fossier. Face off in the Maine zone. Hayhurst and Pearson. Pearson wins it back. Robbins tries to send it out, but it's kept in. Some good work there by Owen Stout to keep that one in, but only momentarily as Pearson's able to get it out. Now Pearson going the other way with that shot and saved by Perry, and it comes loose, but RPI the first one on top of it. Hayhurst now trying to move down ice quickly. Hayhurst splits the defense, loses control of the puck. Behind the net is Liljegren. Gets it back out to the point for Riley. Riley to Prapavesis. Back to Riley at the middle of the face of the blue line. Here comes Riley with a shot, and that's blocked. And then sent down ice. Pearson with the block, Pearson with the pickup, Pearson with the clearance. 10 seconds remaining on the RPI power play. They look about to be going 0 for 5 on the Maine advantage this evening. An errant pass by Liljegren to Liljegren should end it, and that will do it. 5 aside, RPI unable to put another dent in this 4-goal deficit that they face. Another good penalty kill by the Maine Black Bears as they look to move up ice. Headman pass for Quinlan goes off his stick and into the corner in the RPI end. Harris moves it to the near side for Jesper Orval. He tries a headman pass for Reisinger, but it's intercepted by Tiraniemi. Now Maine trying to move it out of their zone. Quinlan has Jerry behind him back checking. Get it out to Robbins, and Robbins will just tap it down into the RPI end. We've seen that a lot here in the third period. Maine gaining that red line and just sending it down. They're not looking to pressure too much. They just want to kind of keep the game on an even keel. Maine digging for it in the attacking zone. Shea sends a dangerous puck in, but it goes off the stick into the far corner where it's shoveled out of the zone by Harris. Polino has it, but he has to wait for RPI to get out of the zone. He's still coming in with it. And now here is Morello. Brings it into the attacking zone. Morello takes a shot. That bounced in front. I don't think McGovern even got a piece of it, but it went wide anyway. And now Shea controlling. Has up for Doherty. Doherty to the red line, and once again just kind of lofts it into the zone. Short shifts for the Black Bears as they look to get out of here without too much fuss. Morello is going to send that one in. That goes off the glove of McGovern and right to his teammate Alexis Binner. Fossier near the Zamboni door. Back over to Binner. Now Trailmax. Trailmax trying to find Fossier with a headman pass, but it bounces off a stick, and Maine just content to kind of regroup as RPI tries to move out of their own zone again. Here's Prapavesis, moves to Morello. Morello to the red line. He can't really do much with it. RPI has to change anyway, and it gets sent down into the Maine end. Keeper along the near boards for Maine, bringing it up to the red line. Taken off of his stick by Liljegren. Hayhurst trying to pressure the puck. He ends up with it on him. Nice pass, finds Riley all alone. Takes a shot, saved by McGovern. Nice pass to get that one to Riley. And now we've got a penalty coming up. It's going to be on Maine as a cross-checking call against, it looks like Brady Keeper. Going to put RPI back on the power play, but not much going on for the Engineers on the Maine advantage this evening.
So a nice little play over to hit Riley coming in late to the play. Gets a good shot off.
Chase Pearson, the guilty party instead, so his compatriot from Alpharetta, Georgia, was the last one in the box for the Black Bears, and now Pearson will sit down for 2. 11:41 remaining in the third period. RPI back on the man advantage. 0 for 5 this evening. Wilson with the puck. Whips a shot that goes over the cage. And now Polino with it all on the near side. He's being left all alone, so he decides what he wants to do. Tierney's the point. Now over for Wilson. Back to Polino on the near side. Looking up. Back to Wilson. Touch pass back to Polino. Polino whips one, and that's going wide, but kept in on the far side by Tierney's. Whip behind the net. Polino and Burke trying to keep it in. Now it's back to the point for Wilson. Wilson's going to send it back deep for Burke. Burke is trying to keep up with Milbauer, who's doing a good job of working hard to try and get control. And it's back to Wilson at the point, who takes a shot that's blockered away by McGovern into the near corner. Some good work being done here by that netminder, and now Polino is shoved down from behind by Smith. No call there. Maybe a little bit unlucky, as RPI really could use all the help they can get. Morello on the far boards, trying to get it to Hayhurst. Hayhurst curls around, now gets up for Riley. Riley has room to operate, gets it into the corner. Jerry just tried to flick that one in, but it went wide. Now back up to the point. Here's a big shot by Riley, and it's a goal for RPI. Will Riley whips one from the near side, just in front of the face-off dot, really. And you keep blasting away like that, and eventually you're probably going to get one to go. RPI gets officially their first power play goal of the game. And it's still quite a mountain to climb, but it's a little bit less of one now. It's 5-2 Maine.
Beautiful rising shot into the corner by Will Riley. That's why the Penguins picked him up in the last draft. It's the last pick. Beautiful, beautiful play.
That's
exactly what you want to do on the power play.
That's
get the goalie moving, turned.
That's the kind of potential that we've seen from Will Riley on the power play. And if the Engineers are fortunate, they're going to get another year or 2.5 years of that kind of play from him on the man advantage. So RPI now down 5-2. Maine really not showing much panic just yet. They're still sitting on a relatively comfortable lead. But RPI with maybe a little bit more pep in their step. They've got a long way to go and not a whole lot of time to do it. But a turnover in the zone to Reisinger goes off a couple of sticks and ultimately goes nowhere. Could have been a good opportunity for the Engineers, but they weren't able to capitalize and create something with it. They have to go all the way back into their own end. Billy Jerry gets put down on the ice by some good forechecking pressure by Maine. Now Fossier has along the near boards. So let's just kind of send that over into the corner where it's picked up by Binner. Now Pearson tries to shovel that one towards the top of the slot and is poked out by Liljegren. And Binner is just going to go ahead and go all the way back with pressure coming from Liljegren. Here comes Trail Max, turns around, one-on-one, sends it towards the goal. Now another quick shot from Hallway gets sticked aside by Perry. Maine controlling the puck in the attacking zone. Another quick shot from the point, saved by Perry, and it's just going to be sticked into the corner by Wilson. Fossier is the first one there. He's now tied up by Wilson. Trail Max comes to help out, and Jesper Orval comes away with it. Jesper Orval moving past his own bench to the blue line, trying to get around Hallway. Eventually gets himself over to the puck in the near corner. Pearson picks up along the near boards, however, and he just kind of shovels that one off to Binner. And that's going to be sent into the zone by Fossier, and the Black Bears get some fresh legs out. Polino tries to get it to Riley, who just scored for the Engineers. Battle near the main bench. It is Salmon comes away with a nice pass up to Polino, but he can't corral it. He gets it back to Hayhurst. Hayhurst walking in, takes a shot. That's blocked in the corner by Smith. Whiffing with it now, back up to the point. Riley whips a shot. That gets slowed down in front, but it drizzled in on McGovern, and we get a whistle. I think we got a penalty coming up here. It might be on.
Yeah, I think Polino went flying. Somebody hit him in front of the net.
The referee's arm was up for just a hot second before the whistle blew after that puck ended up drizzling in on McGovern. And the penalty bench is open, although the ice crew is also coming out at the same time, so this might not be fully a penalty on anyone. I'm not sure why the official's arm was in the air. But no one is making a move toward the main bench. Marty Hughes just made the sign for a hit from behind, but maybe he was just putting his arm behind his back.
Yeah, I mean, Polino got hit pretty hard right in front of the net when he was trying to get to the puck. And
the officials don't seem to be in any hurry to get somebody into the penalty bench. And once again, with the ice crew out there, the visitors' penalty box is open anyway because one of the crew members is sitting in there.
Right.
So I'm not. Many things that may have been a coincidence that we're having a hard time.
Well, I know TJ Samek was talking to the ref after the whistle just to find out why he didn't call anything.
And the officials are having discussions, although could just be deciding on dinner plans for this evening, as we're 8 minutes and 2 seconds away from the end of this one. In all likelihood, RPI still looking at the wrong end of a 5-2 score in this one.
Yeah, RPI outshooting him 34-28, certainly this period, and coming on pretty strong. So a little late, but there's still 8:02 left. Let's see if we can get one here.
So no penalty called. We're still 5 aside, and the faceoff is in the main end. RPI wins it back to Riley. Riley just keeps that one in by kicking it, but ends up on the stick of Robbins, and he's the one that's able to move it out. Goes into the RPI end. Quinlivan is attacking, but it's a battle for it in the far corner. Samick comes away with it. Moves it up for Burke. Burke can't control the pass. Now it's up for Keeper. Keeper with a D-to-D pass for Binner. Now Quinlivan looking up for Robbins. Robbins and Westerland battling with the Engineers over in the far corner. RPI with an angle on it now. Morello bringing it out. And it's just tapped in by a departing Tyrannies. And Maine recovers. Veazey crosses that red line and sends it in. Veazey back up on top of it. Kept in momentarily at the blue line by Maine, then it just drizzles out. Patrick Shea. Leaves it for Veazey. Veazey coming in on the far side, curling around the net, looking up, finding Tiraniemi at the top of the slot. His shot is blocked. Another opportunity. That looked like it went off of a fallen Maine player. That was Veazey, who was on his knees in the slot. I think that shot hit him, the one by Muehlbauer. Shea behind the net has it taken off of his stick, and Matt Harris now with it. He tries to get it up for Hayhurst, but it just bounces off his stick. We've seen an awful lot of that. That was Reisinger, actually, my mistake. We've seen a lot of decent passes just going bouncing off of sticks and into the ether. Now Maine ices the puck with 6:20 remaining. That 3-goal lead looking ever more comfortable for Maine as time continues to tick by. Official scoring on RPI's second goal, a power play goal at 9:41 of the third period. Will Riley with his 6th goal of the season, with the assists going to Evan Tierney's and Jake Morello. Just a reminder, you're listening to live coverage of Engineers Hockey on 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy. As the Engineers win the face-off in the attacking zone. Hayhurst is just muscled off the puck, and now here comes Maine the other way with it. A quick shot by Fossier goes over the net. He was kept off the score sheet for the first time against RPI last night. He does have 2 assists against RPI on this evening. Fossier, as you may recall, we mentioned last night, he had a total of 5 goals against RPI in 3 games over the last 2 seasons coming into this weekend.
Now, I think the attack tonight by Maine is much more balanced than last night. It was basically one line last night. Looks like all 4 lines are getting on the score sheet kind of today, and generating chances.
You like to have 1 really good line, but you really like to have 4 decent enough lines with that 1 or 2 really good lines. So we've seen a lot from the Maine attack this weekend, and they look very poised to have some good seasons, especially in the near future.
Yep, another young team, right?
Maine with control in the RPI end. Shot by Hamilton, hits traffic in front. There was a lot of bodies in front of Chase Perry right there, and it went off of somebody. And it ends up with Prapovestis who gets it out of the zone up for Wilson. Wilson is just going to jam it from the red line. Giving chase is Morello, but the first one there is Hallway. Hallway pays the price for moving the puck, but he gets up for Husakis, who's moving into the zone past Samick. Now Orval is going to send it a little bit deeper, looking for Samick. Samick tried to find Riley. Now RPI just having all kinds of problems moving it past Maine's forecheck. That is Lacroix, who's doing a good job right there of frustrating the RPI forwards. And now an offsides call as the puck was bouncing near that blue line. You see the face-off come up just outside the zone. Actually, we're going to see it in a center ice face-off with 5:01 left in the third period, and Maine up 5-2.
Yeah, that last play where Arcostas took it down the side, that's the kind of play that RPI needs to make, getting it into the zone by carrying it in. They're not doing that tonight.
RPI wins the face-off and sends it down ice. Here's Whiffen behind the cage. He's being harassed by Quinlivan. Now Quinlivan coming away with it. Those two doing battle. Quinlivan eventually just kind of shaking it out of the zone. And it heads up for Westerland, and again, hits that red line, sends it down ice. Polino with 4:34 remaining in the third period. Cross ice pass for Samick up to the red line. He's going to send it in as Polino gives chase. Robbins picks up for Maine. Going forward now is Doherty along the near boards, brings it in. Has Harris on him, kind of backhands it into the slot. Where's the puck? It's to the side of the cage. Polino is trying to come away with it, and he eventually has it on his stick. but he's escorted over to the corner by Westerland. Now RPI behind their own net. Here is Harris up for Polino. Polino just kind of backhands it into the zone. He was behind the red line, but they're going to wave off the icing call.
It's a good play by Grant at the other end to stay on top of the puck. Not let Maine come up with it in front of the net.
Now Maine is going to ice the puck, so we'll have a face-off in the Maine end with 3:45 remaining. The Engineers are looking at scoring just about a goal per minute if they're going to pull themselves back into it. We saw some good get up and go from the Engineers after the goal by Riley, but they haven't been able to turn it into anything solid. Face-off won back by Maine. Hallway just trying to outweigh Tierney's, but he puts it off at Tierney's skate, so Hamilton has to go back behind his own net to collect it. Now some more pressure by RPI. Tierney's trying to come away with it, and it goes off of Pearson's stick, and now Trailmax brings it up the near side. He's pushed off by Wilson. Now Tierney's looking to go the other way with it. Doesn't have any help as he brings it in all alone. There's 4 defensemen in there, so he's going to whip that towards the net, and McGovern just fights that one off into the corner. There is Liljegren and Morello trying to come up with it, and Trailmax is the one that brings it out of the zone. Trailmax just got absolutely leveled by an elbow, and it's going to be Jared Wilson going off here after Chase Perry touches the puck. That's not a good penalty to take. That was a very kind of offhanded. Wilson was coming off the ice anyway and just decided to stick his elbow out. I'm sorry, Victor Liljegren. Yeah, that's right. 12, not 13.
That was a frustration penalty. No doubt about it.
It was very kind of after the fact, out of the way, excuse me type thing, but he just kind of stuck his arm out and leveled Trailmax.
Yeah, Liljegren lost the puck in the corner to Trailmax and got him back.
So that frustration penalty is going to just about do it for RPI with 2:57 left in this one. And they're opening the door for, they're probably going to send Liljegren off for that one. That was kind of an egregious, unsportsmanlike, game misconduct.
Yeah, probably a hit to the head.
And a major, okay, and a major penalty. So that, if RPI wasn't in trouble before, they're pretty much done for now. That was a major penalty, and Larry, like you said, probably for a hit to the head because it was very deliberate. Very deliberate. As you can see, if you're watching on RPI TV, you can see the replay as it is. I hear some booing, but it was maybe at half speed, it looks like it might have been kind of a deliberate fall by Trailmax, but it was very, at full speed, it was very obvious that he was just looking to kind of blindside him, and it was a hit up high. It was not a good hit to make. It was really a needless hit from the get. So
not a safe hit. I think the fans might be a little upset because Trailmax puts his stick up high first, but nevertheless, hit to the head, get you a 5 every time.
Yeah, that just was not smart hockey. And now the official is giving a bench minor. Is something is going on with the RPI bench. There's some shouting from the RPI coaches. It looks like it looked to me like one of the officials was sending one of the RPI coaches off. Unsportsmanlike conduct is on the board, and Owen Stout is in the penalty box. We'll have to see if this is a bench minor. This might be a penalty against the RPI coach and staff. It is a bench minor. I'm guessing that I can't tell which one it was. You know, there's 3 coaches down there. Dave Smith is with Dan Jewell and Nolan Graham.
Ultimately,
I would have to guess Dave Smith because he's standing on the RPI bench jawing at Marty Hughes.
Ultimately, Dave's accountable for it, but
well, now Jesper Orval's name is being announced. Orval's in the box along with Owen Stout. One of them is at least serving the penalty for Liljegren. So the wheels coming off for RPI here late. Now a 5-on-3 opportunity for Maine. And you can add to the punishment here late in this one. Veazey as it for Keeper. Now Veazey on the far boards, 5-on-3. Binner. Now a shot by Keeper. That goes off the stick of Perry and into the corner. Binner now along the near boards. Back up for Keeper. Keeper is just kind of just dropping it for Binner. No pressure at all. Here is Veazey. Veazey looking for something to do. Gets to the top of the slot. Now to Binner. Binner takes a shot and it's sticked aside by Perry, but Maine recovers it. Whipped shot by Veazey goes just wide. 2:12 left in this one. Shot by Veazey still goes wide. He's just kind of leaning back now. This is an absolute shooting gallery for the Black Bears. Back on Veazey's stick. He's in the near face-off circle. Looking for Binner, a shot opportunity. He's tried to stick home by Doherty, and it goes just wide. RPI trying to control it and get it out of the zone, and they finally do. A good backhand by Tommy Grant's going to get this one out of the zone. 52 seconds remaining on the 5-on-3. The Engineers will be shorthanded for the rest of this game due to the major penalty to Liljegren. Maine changes up their lines. Here is Hallway moving it up to Pearson across the blue line. Moves for Fossier. Tiraniemi now. Back over to Hallway. Hallway steps up to the face-off circle. Now Trailmax. Back for Tiraniemi. Has it over for Fossier in the corner. Fossier moves behind the net. It's up for Hallway, who takes a shot, and that's gloved down by Perry. It kind of looked awkward going after that one, but he's able to get that one into his glove.
He got it in his glove. He had actually opened his 5-hole pretty wide while he's stumbling a little bit, and he got the glove up.
Maine looks like they want to score here. They're not messing around on this 5-on-3. They've got plenty of opportunities, and they're going for it, but some good defense here by the Engineers late. RPI wins the face-off. They try to get it out, but it's kept in by Keeper. Now Maine behind the net. Fossier up for Trailmax on the near side. Up to Keeper at the top of the slot. Takes a shot. That's blocked. Good showing here by the RPI penalty killers. Hallway over into the corner. 3 seconds left on the bench minor. Fossier leaves for Hallway. Now 5-on-4 as Maine rips a shot. That goes to the back boards, and Hayhurst is on top of it. Hayhurst looking to go the other way with a final minute of regulation. Here come the Engineers. Takes a shot. Saved by McGovern. That was Hayhurst taking that shot, and Hallway's going to look to move the other way with it now. 37 seconds remaining in this one. Still a power play opportunity for the Black Bears. Fossier to Trailmax. Trailmax bringing it around to the blue line. Back to Hallway. Now Trailmax at the top of the, or along the far boards to Fossier. Fossier is just going to look like he was trying to pass it through, but Perry wasn't having any of that, and he just puts it into his glove. 19.7 seconds remaining in this one.
I think on that penalty kill, the best penalty killer on that kill was Chase Perry. He just looked really big, and he is a big guy, and he looked real big in the crease, holding his own, facing the shots well, squaring to him.
And Maine could have just kind of threw the puck around, but they were not messing with things. They wanted to try and score, and they weren't able to on that 5-on-3. Face-off is picked up by the Engineers. Here comes Morello with 13 seconds. Morello all alone takes a shot, and some good back checking there by Hamilton keeps him from getting full amount on that one, but he does lose his stick in the process, or did Morello lose it? They're kind of fighting over the same stick. And now there's some pushing and shoving between the two of them as the puck ends up down ice. I don't know whose stick that was that ended up.
That was Morello's. Hamilton grabbed Morello's stick and threw it in the corner.
Well, that's the end of this one as the Engineers fall by a score of 5-2. Their 5th consecutive loss in 2 seasons to Maine, and their 4th consecutive loss overall. And after this one, things did not certainly end well for RPI overall, the way that you saw the needless penalty taken by senior leadership, and the coaches taking a penalty at the end, setting up, basically setting the team up for failure with a 5-on-3 that they had to really stand in there and stand strong against. They did a good job with that if you want to take away some positives from this late.
Yeah, well, it was a frustrating end to the weekend, and I see Dave Smith now still mouthing at Mr. Hicks and the referee.
Ultimately, I don't understand what the issue would have been, because it was very legitimately, when you watched it full speed, it was kind of out of the way. I'm on my way out, and we're already down, so I'm gonna go after you, and it was not well advised or well taken at all. So
yeah, and I think that was part of the reason for the call, also, as it was a lopsided game, and there was no reason for that kind of penalty, to be taken.
But if you want to take a silver lining away from the very ending, that 5-on-3 penalty that the Engineers had to kill off, Maine was not sitting back. They were well within their rights to just play with the puck for however much longer there was, about 2.5 minutes. But they went for it. They were looking for goal number 6, and they did not get it. So
it was one of the few times I saw Chase Perry actually look confident in that. He looked like he was in control. He looked like he was focused. He looked like he was owning the crease. And that was the first time I think I saw that all night. I think a lot of times it looked like he stayed back a little on some of those high shots that grabbed the corners. He went down a little early on. Another goal. Not to say that the defense didn't leave him high and dry on a couple, but that long slap shot was probably a little bit of a soft goal on the stick side. And I think he looked very good at the end. That's something positive to take away. But I think they're going to need to go back to practice time and put some lines together that work together, that know each other, that can figure out where each other's going to be, can click, can make 3-4 passes together. I didn't see that tonight. I saw lots of bad passing, lots of dumping, lots of misdirections. I just don't think they work together as a unit.
You kind of go back to the very beginning of the game, and like last night, Maine got themselves on the board very, very quickly. And you kind of wonder what could have been if the Engineers had been able to maintain an even balance early in the game. Because 56 seconds in and you're already trailing 1-0, a night after you were trailing 1-0 around the same time, you start to set up and you're kind of already having to fight from behind. If I'm not saying that necessarily if they kept that one out that Brady Whiffen still scores the next goal, but you're putting yourself behind that 8 ball, and you're changing the dynamic of the game from the very beginning. Right. So you kind of wonder what RPI could have accomplished had they been able to get out and keep Maine out of the net for the first 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah, you never know, and I think that's been a symptom throughout the season. Is the first 10 minutes of a game and the last 5-10 minutes of a game have always been a problem this year. They've been losing leads. They've been getting behind the 8 ball to start and just never get quite enough to catch up. And it results in a lot of 1-goal games. In the case of St. Lawrence, a tie that they should have had. They were 2 goals up, I believe, with 2 minutes left in the game. And this is part of its maturity, part of its learning a new system, but part of it's just execution and wanting that win and working together as a team.
I will run down the scoring in tonight's game, and Larry will come up with his RPI offensive and defensive Engineers of the game. As mentioned, the Maine Black Bears jumping on this one early. 56 seconds into the first period, Chase Pearson scoring his first goal of the season with the assists to Brady Keeper and Mitchell Fossier. Made a 1-0 Maine. RPI tied it up at 11 minutes of the first period. Technically an even strength goal, but kind of created by an odd man opportunity. Brady Whiffen scoring his 3rd goal of the season on a putback of a shot by Todd Burgess. Burgess' 9th assist of the season was followed up, or was backed up, I should say, by Will Riley's 2nd assist of the year. Made it 1-1. Maine took the lead back at 17:55 of the first period. An even strength goal by Patrick Holloway, his 5th of the season, with the assists going to Edwards, Trailmax, and Pearson. And it was 2-1 heading into the second period, where Maine scored 3 goals, the first coming at 2:27 of the second period on the power play. Brady Keeper with his 4th goal of the season. 2nd point of the night with the assists to Nolan Veazey and Tim Doherty. Made it 3-1. Maine then made it 4-1 at 4:38 of the second period. Kind of a bouncing puck was put home by Keith Muehlbauer, his 1st goal and 1st point of the season, actually. With the assists to Fossier and Trailmax, made it 4-1. And a shorthanded breakaway by Brendan Robbins ended up in the back of the net at 7:11 of the second period. That made it 5-1 on Robbins' 6th goal of the season. Will Riley had a consolation goal for RPI in the 3rd period on the power play, 6th of the season for the RPI sophomore. Evan Tierney's and Jake Morello with the assists on that one, and that was the final score of 5-2. Rob McGovern picks up the win in net for the Black Bears. He made 36 saves on 38 shots. Total, Chase Perry, the loser in net for RPI. His save tally was 27 saves on 32 total shots. Maine was 1 for 3 on the man advantage this evening and included a shorthanded goal. The RPI Engineers were 1 for 6 on the man advantage. They took a total of 21 minutes in penalties, to include 15 minutes taken by Victor Viljagren at the 17:03 mark of the 3rd period with a game misconduct and contact to the head penalty, which was followed up by an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on the RPI bench. So Larry, offensive and defensive engineers today.
Well, for offense, it wasn't a lot of offense, right? There were 2 goals only by the Engineers. Not a lot of really good scoring opportunities. I don't think McGovern worked as hard as he did yesterday. But I got to give it to the first goal scorer. Brady Whiffen had a couple of good chances tonight. The one coming down the left wing, and I think he had a couple other ones, and he got the goal in front off the rebound from Burgess. So I would give it to Whiffen for the offensive, and to include the other piece of the offense, which had a goal and an assist tonight from the back line, I would give the defensive player of the game, Will Riley. He just looked like he was engaged in the game. He was rushing the puck up. He was not on the ice for any of the goals against, and I think he had a very good game on both offense and defense.
That should just about do it for us here. We'll catch up on the out-of-town scoreboard before we get out of here. I'd like to check out the other 3 games that were going on that we kept you apprised of during the intermissions. Cornell were 6-2 victors at home against Canisius in a non-conference battle. Yale wins the consolation game of the Ledyard Bank Classic as 4-2 winners over New Hampshire. And St. Lawrence was able to close out their victory in the Cadmount Cup by claiming the championship 3-0 over UMass Lowell. The emerging goaltender in Canton is Daniel Manella, who made 35 saves to pick up the shutout and his 2nd consecutive victory for the Saints. We would like to thank Dan Wakefield back at the station for getting us out on the air and keeping us there this evening. I'd like to personally thank Larry for stepping up to the plate and doing some color commentary his first time out.
Yeah, really appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely.
It's been a lot of fun.
Did a tremendous job, and we really like to thank you for coming up here. We'd like to remind you that our next WRPI broadcast will be taking place next Friday as the RPI men's hockey team travels down the Mass Pike to take on the Harvard Crimson at the Bright Hockey Center, or they've changed the name recently. The Bright something else.
I only know it is the Bright Arena.
Bright Hockey Center of some kind in Allston, Massachusetts. Game time for that one is set. It's supposed to be at 7 o'clock, but there is television coverage for that one, which might delay the opening face-off by a few minutes so that they can do their pregame. So tentatively, we'll say that WRPI should be on the air for that one at about 6:45 p.m. But if it's a little bit late, then we usually try to go 15 minutes before puck drop. So if the puck drop is delayed for TV coverage, then just expect that we might be 5 to 7 minutes a little bit later. But that will be the next WRPI sports broadcast. Again, that is Friday, January 5th. I'd also like to thank the Rensselaer Union. They provide the funding for WRPI and all the club-related activity of the Institute, including WRPI's coverage of RPI hockey, football, and baseball. Just a reminder, WRPI is on the World Wide Web. Point your browser to WRPI.org, and you can pick up WRPI's broadcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. As long as WRPI is broadcasting, we provide that broadcast on our internet stream. Once again, that is WRPI.org. You can also check out any RPI men's home hockey game streaming live on the internet. Thanks to RPI TV. You can go check them out at rpitv.org, or you can surf on over to YouTube and search RPI TV. So for Larry Pulverant, my name is Tom Reel. Your final score from Houston Fieldhouse: the Engineers are swept in a non-conference weekend, losing Game 2 to the Maine Black Bears by a score of 5-2. You've been listening to live coverage of Engineers hockey on 101.5 FM, WRPI Troy.